HCS Anaheim is presented by AMD, Astro Gaming, the Marines, Zowie, and Xbox Plays.
Hello Spartans and welcome back to the HCS NA Regionals. We are live from Anaheim, California, and before the break we saw an absolute clinic from Cloud9 here in Street Strongholds. Absolutely insane stuff. The trip cap of the century held the entire game, and honestly it just got a little bit worse from there for Pioneers. They did manage to take a Slayer off Cloud9, and to be perfectly honest, they were okay with it. Hoax has said on the main stage that it's alright if they drop a Slayer, but objective-wise they're not too happy if they do let one of those slip through. However, that wasn't the case in the rest of this series. They did manage to seal the deal pretty easily at the end of it, and I've got to say Cloud9 looking absolutely lights out as per usual, and with their eyes on that very trophy right there. Gentlemen, we are back on the desk. I've got Bravo, Onset, and Golden Boy, and I've got to say, guys, it's the final series of the night. I can't believe day 2.
I thought I was done, by the way.
I know
You're
you
not
did.
Done. It said the schedule. It was like, you know it, not on the schedule, and now I'm back again.
You know what? We're giving the people what they want.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but you're back on board.
And that is Bravo and Onset.
Pretty good.
And a tag along. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, we love having you up here, Golden Boy. I've got to say though, Optic versus Sentinels. What a way to close out day number 2.
Big rivalry. No better way.
Big rivalry here, boys. I think I think they've actually sorted out a lot of things. I think personally from each other, and now it's just down to the gameplay. You know, they have been scrimming, that's kind of been put aside. They have been practicing against one another, so there is now familiarity, and I think that's actually going to make for an even more intense and exciting series because they kind of know what they're working with on both sides of this ship here. Bravo, let's quickly touch upon Optic first. I mean, this team has been pretty good this LAN so far. You know, they've had a pretty clean record, and they're firing on all cylinders. Actually, Clutch fancies them to potentially take the entire tournament. What are you thinking about Optic?
Well, yeah, it's tough to comment on Clutch's thoughts on any of them, so I'll skip that one for now.
He'd be tripping dead ass, bro.
That's true. But Optic, as you say, Lottie, looks very, very good, and I think a lot of Optic fans were wondering what Optic Gaming they were going to get here. Are they going to get the Optic that showed up over the first 2 weeks of Halo Infinite, or was it more going to be maybe the Raleigh Optic? I think we're seeing a very different Optic Gaming, a great set of matches in pool play. Since then, they've also kept the foot down on the gas pedal, and I think Optic fans are pretty happy with what they've seen from the Green Wall.
Yeah, Onset, you know, we actually talked about some of the flexibility of Optic that we've seen so far this LAN, and something we haven't really seen before, but you know, I kind of noted that at one point Ola was absolutely slaying. We don't usually see the Wizard pop off like that, but he was doing his part to ensure that that game went their way. What does that tell you about Optic at this point in time, that they are absolutely capable of reversing their roles with one another and producing the goods when it matters?
You have to. At this level, when you get into these kind of series against the biggest teams in the world, everybody has to be able to do everything on the map, whether it's hit a clutch headshot with a sniper rifle that's left on the floor, whether it's grabbing the objective at the last second as, you know, you trying to tie up a game or put in a last second flag cap, whatever it has to be, you have to be an all-rounded player in these kind of situations. You can't be the kind of player who's just putting up some numbers and then kind of just playing his life a little bit. You can't do it because these players are so good, so quick, and so active on the map that those few seconds can cost you games.
It can indeed. Golden Boy, who is your X factor for this Optic team? Who's really, you know, setting the trend here right now, and who has to have a big performance today?
You know, like, conventional wisdom would go always to Lucid because he is that guy. He's kind of the ace on this team, but I'm actually really paying attention to Trippy because while I think the world of Trippy, but, you know, I do think that there is a lot on his shoulders here. He is flanked by Titans. He himself is a fantastic player, and he simply just has to, you know, be the support player and play the game, but also, like, you know, find those moments where he can have his shine, right? His brilliance. Trippy's very capable of that, and if he's able to do it, hey, Optic Gaming could walk away with this win easily.
I completely agree with you, and it's for reasons that I think Trippy wants to put to bed as well. That Trippy has been on the receiving end of Game 5 losses so many times through his career, and it's almost become like, think of the memes that have been made, right? It's Trippy looking shocked, disappointed, can't believe it's happened, and it always seems to be Trippy's face. I want to see one series here from Trippy where he's the man to make a play in a Game 5, or a series-deciding moment where he's the one who's like, do you know what? I'm going to win this game for my my team. And that will install not just confidence, I think, in him for this tournament, but it's a game-changing thing for him overall. He becomes a new level of player if he can do that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you guys, actually. Honestly, I think Trippy is the guy to watch out for at this point in time. I think he's gone so far in terms of his ability with this team and what he can do on the game. And that comes across in not just only his stats, but like you said, getting those plays, getting those game-winning moments. And I think we're going to see more and more of that with Trippy as he gets more confident across the game as well. Now let's switch the focus to Sentinels on the other side of the stage, the other portion of this rivalry. Now, these guys historically have some accolades under their belt, but right now, they have a point to prove. They need to prove to the world that they are the same 4 players we know and love, and they're the same 4 players who will be lifting trophies at the end of LAN events. But to do this, they have Optic standing in their way yet again. And, you know, I was impressed with what I saw from FaZe, but I was also a little bit worried too. I think, you know, after having played FaZe previously in scrims, you know, it's actually one of their highly scrim teams that they have. It was a very closely fought battle. So slightly worried about Sentinels in terms of the games that they lost there, because they did look a little bit shaky at times. They looked great on some of the maps that they'd won, but some of the losses that they had, it felt like a little bit of a different team. They were getting split up, they're getting killed individually and isolated, and that to me spells a little bit of a disaster sometimes.
Yeah, even in the series we saw them earlier on set, there was a moment, even though it was a convincing win that we saw, there was a moment where we're wondering, in some of these game types, even when we see W's in the category, there's a few moments where I think we saw, does Sentinels have a few things to clean up here and there? I think the answer from those earlier matches was yes, and that's something we're certainly going to be looking out for.
The one thing that you can notice, though, is they are starting to clean them up. And as the series is going on, as the more games get under their belt, as the bigger the series gets, they know they can make less of those mistakes. And you are seeing those adjustments. Let's just remember, first time this team have played on LAN together since 2018, which is a bigger factor than people realize. They are under practice still in comparison to other teams, but it's not an excuse anymore. You have to turn her up and play.
Yeah, that was the thing that I was going to note. Like, this squad has not had an opportunity to have those 4 players, even though they've been a team for a super long time. They know each other incredibly well. They haven't had that opportunity to play in a live environment, because there's nothing like looking at your teammate and seeing their screen and being able to talk to them and just having that camaraderie that only comes from being in a live environment. And that being said, Sentinels is the type of team that they're learning on the fly, right? Like, you know, that match against Cloud9, yeah, you know, not that great. Not what they wanted, just putting it very lightly. But I'm sure that they ripped away a lot of information from that game that they want to apply in more matches as this competition goes on. It's been a long day.
It has been a long day. I'll tell you what, something that's also really scary as we get through this here, but something that's really scary about the Sentinels roster for me is their individual skill, not just across all of the maps, but in certain situations. You know, there were times where you'd see Snakebite making the most heads-up play you've ever seen in your life that would totally switch the momentum of the game into their favor. Let's not also sleep on the fact that Lethal in that Oddball game pretty much won the entire series for them, because it clutched up the whole situation of this map layout. I mean, that elevator plane, to be able to stay alive there and also turn around and just totally annihilate Snipedown, just really put that game in their favor. So it's scary to know that very small little margins for Sentinels can win them games. You cannot give them an inch, because if you do, you can also be going home. So it's very, very difficult. But with that being said, I also want to hear from an Optic Gaming member. You know him. I'm pretty sure you love him. He's always tweeting philosophical things. He's also getting stickies on a lot of players, and he can be very irritating on the map. But we actually sat down with Pistola to find out exactly how he's feeling.
My name is I Got Your Pistola, or just Pistola, and I play for Optic Gaming.
Just like that, FaZe now ahead by 2. This is scary for Snipedown, and he gets taken down by the Wizard himself. Pistola takes down Snipedown, also takes down Bound for the triple kill.
I feel the meta has changed significantly since Raleigh. I actually went back recently and watched some Raleigh, and it's crazy how different the game looks just based on like people's positioning and the way that they move. So I think, you know, and the game types, the maps are the same and the game types are the same with like all the weapons. So the fact that it's changed so much is fascinating, but I think it's changed significantly, yeah.
Bottom middle, maybe playing a little corner, looking for a trade or anything. Pistola now trying to sneak up behind back tower. If he can find a little back whack here, a little back smack, it will be the game going Optic.
To be honest, there's a lot of players that have impressed me this game. I haven't actually seen a Halo game where so many teams are fighting each other, just like back and forth. Falcated has been playing incredible. Renegade, Eco has been owning, in my opinion. All the like top 6 teams, all those players have been really good. And it's just, it's not surprising, but it is very impressive. It kind of pushes you to be better. Like I was saying earlier, like we haven't taken a day off. And it's, you know, because we feel like if we do, we're falling behind. So what keeps me competing in Halo is I just love the game so much. I just have always loved Halo. I love the kill times. I love the lore. I love the way that it feels. Being a Spartan is awesome. You know, I even thought about like making a switch to COD or other games. I even played Fortnite a bunch, and it's just, you know, those games are fun, but they're not Halo to me. So Halo just always has like a special place in my heart. So I can't let it go. I love it. It makes me feel wonderful knowing that people watch my gameplay and they feel inspired by it, because I know that feeling. I used to watch the Ogre Twins, I would watch Final Boss, I'd watch all these people. Even whenever I'm competing, I still watch people that I'm inspired by right now, where I'm like, so I understand that feeling. So thinking that other people feel that way about me is just, it's a wonderful thing. It's wild. Back in the day, I never thought that people would ever look up to me game style wise ever, because I just was doing my thing. So it's wonderful.
Very, very heartfelt words there.
That's like the most wholesome thing I ever saw.
God, I love that kid.
Yeah, it's very, very wholesome. And I got to say, you know, he's been around a long time. He's been inspiring a lot of people for a long time. And I think, you know, that's an accumulation of experience right there.
Actually 15 years this year.
Wow,
Professional
15
professional
years.
play.
How old is he?
I don't know how old Ola is.
Let's not expose him.
I think he's forever. He's timeless. I think Ola's going to be like 25 forever.
Yeah, he's going to look like that for the rest of the year.
2007, his breakout pro year, of
he's
course.
Sprite from Eternals, you know, just kind of always just going to look like a child. But that is the thing about Pistola, man, is just he, you know, I mean, we all have like a good personal relationship. We've known him for years. He's just a good dude, and it's just great to see him still competing here at a very high level and continuing to do the things that he's been doing. It's absurd to be this consistent for that long.
Yeah, he's not slowing down. That's for sure. I mean, literally 2 minutes ago, we were talking about how he's being a main slayer suddenly in a game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unbelievable stuff from him. And also just leading the charge and having that experience on a roster is everything. You know, he has been through it all. He's seen almost every situation. I mean, he said 15 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if you want somebody to calculate certain situations and to strategize, Pistola, he's your guy. He's absolutely your guy. But speaking of guys, we have 8 of them on the main stage, and they're going to be facing off with one another very shortly. But we actually sat down with them to see exactly how they're feeling about Anaheim, how they're feeling about this weekend, what their chances are. So let's listen to them.
We had Lucid in a position where they're right there immediately.
Okay, I thought that the spikes were going to kill him. This is ridiculous. He still stays alive. He might be able to get this double. No, he does. Lucid is absurd.
The most dangerous player here is Lucid. I'm going to say that.
I think the fans can look forward to just, you know, the classic play style I play, the slang, and, you know, just hiding in corners trying to get my kills. It's the classic rule, too.
He's an on-step promise. See that jump? No, stick, right? Oh, my.
That does not count. 47-38. Okay, fine.
So we've been a team for 6 years, which is insane to think about, and we just know what it takes to win a tournament. So we've been there, done that.
They're all in this series, as they talked about before, play completely different, try to like hide, try to just get scrap a couple kills, but oh my god, he just doesn't miss on land, huh?
Yeah, having Royal 2 back, it's an amazing feeling. I mean, he's obviously an insane player. He's one of the best players in Halo for a long time now.
I'd say the advantage our team has over other teams here is that we have had a lot of practice, but other teams also have. But I'd say our team has probably practiced the most, if not like top 3 the most.
A lot of times these teams opt to try to make more pushes a little bit faster, just a little less structured, but United really took their time with that one, and look at these snipes coming out. Lucid maybe put the shutdown to this.
Good luck to the competition, because you'll probably need it.
My god, that clip.
Ridiculous.
Then that clip doesn't get old. That is a wild set of kills there.
Yeah, it is. It's incredible, actually, what a lot of our pros are capable of doing up there. And it's funny that we literally watch so much Halo because we have the Pro Series, which is absolutely amazing because every single week we get to see the best of the best play in every single region. but it still surprises me. They do ridiculous things all the time, things that are different that you haven't seen before, which is really cool. And I think that's also an ode to the fact that Pistola says the meta is ever shifting and changing, and we get to watch that. We get to watch that happen before us, which is really, really cool as well. Let's take a look right now at the series layout, and I'll tell you what, I am interested in this series layout and what you gentlemen think of it, because I've kind of noticed that, you know, across this weekend so far, a lot of our top teams have been going a little bit toe-to-toe with some of our AM teams, some of the teams that maybe are the underdogs here. And that kind of tells me a little bit that we should maybe be looking into the series layout a little bit more and how that dictates things for some of our top teams here. And I think Sentinels are also going to be looking at a series layout in terms of under practice, in terms of, you know, they're not liking certain things at the moment. So what does that tell you, bruv?
I think just the fact that, just like you said, each and every single one of these games has going to be taken so seriously. This can't be a point where you're able to take away, say, you lose a Slayer here, you lose a CTF Bazaar there. The pressure's going to be on, for sure.
It certainly is, but I look at that series layout and I see a weak map 1 for Optic, but then a weak map 2 for Sentinels, which is interesting, right? Because usually you're looking at things and thinking, oh, that's a strong map for them, that's a strong map for this team, but I just see 2 weak game types at the start for either team. So it's going to be a very fascinating start to the series to actually watch who can outperform the other on what might be one of their weaker game types.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think also another interesting topic to kind of bring up here as well is, you know, I hear a lot, it's not really so as much of an excuse as like, oh, those game types didn't work in our favor, etc. What point in the season do you think it gets to be said that it's like, well, every game type's pretty good for us? You know, like, do we get to that point, or will there always be something that our teams don't really like? They don't really want to be playing. You know, where does that practice come into it, where you're like really well versed on everything?
Yeah, I think it needs to come in right now. To be honest,
yes.
I think we're already at the point where you need to be focusing on every single game type. I think at the end of the day, the reason you hear that is because teams will still always have a weakest game type where they know that they maybe have the lesser of the scrim results on there. However, I think we're already at the point where if you're not good at all these game types, you're in a lot of trouble in this bracket.
I agree with that. I also want to just take a second here because we've been very nice about both these teams, right? Understandably, it's been very friendly. But let's just put this in context here, right? Yes, some personal relationships might have been fixed behind the scene, which is great to see, right?
Yeah.
But let's just remember for a second what happened back in Raleigh, right? That was one of the craziest series we've seen. Optic beat Sentinels in the matchup that we're about to see, the winners bracket matchup. But then when it mattered, Sentinels packed the bag of Optic Gaming and sent them home. And
in
trust
top
me,
6.
in top 6,
yeah.
Which is ridiculous. So even though they might all be friendly again behind the scenes, everyone's, you know, being nice to each other, we're all scrimming, that's cool. Trust me, Optic want to send Sentinels down to the lower bracket again, and Sentinels want to smash their opponents down to the lower bracket as well. This isn't nice on the stage. The niceness is done behind the scenes. This is the competition.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line here because for
none of
Optic,
this niceness anymore, Alex.
No, I agree.
Thank you.
Yeah,
raise your voice.
Yeah, get mad. No, but here's the deal. There's a lot on the line here because there's ramifications, right?
Yeah.
For Sentinels, I don't think this like nearly as bad, but it's more of a pride thing for them. They just want the win. Right? Everyone wants to win, but Sentinels, like, they're a team that believes they belong in the grand finals of every event that they play in, and gosh darn it, they're going to do everything in their power to make it there because their track record has shown that that is what they do. But for Optic, you know, there's a lot of expectations when you put that jersey on, when you represent that community, when you represent that organization, and they expect greatness every single time. So there is no slipping up here. Both of these teams, it's like Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, right? Neither man can afford to lose this match. Well, it's the same thing for both of these teams.
It really is. It really is the
I
same.
love that
Yeah, I think that might just be one of the best things you've ever said. I think it was very good.
Well, you know
not a lot
what?
to pull from.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know what that says.
That's that. That's all I got.
I'll tell you what, though, let's take a quick look, though, at the main stage, and in particular, a player versus player. Our head-to-head right now, it's going to be Pistola versus Frosty. And I did tell you, the Wizard was heating up in terms of his KD ratio. He's looking pretty damn good, and he's also getting the assist in the game as well. But I've got to say, Frosty as well, with the average kills per game, this man is nuts, bro.
I mean, yeah, these are two fan favorites. These are guys that are going to put together clip after clip after clip, and they're going to continue to impress you day in, day out in this game. It's been amazing to see what these guys have done in their professional Halo careers. And I couldn't think of a better head-to-head in this series. I mean, these are guys that can string together some of the wildest plays we've ever seen in professional Halo.
What makes this head-to-head so fun, too, is that they're head-to-head, but for completely different reasons, right? I think, like, Frosty has this way of which he patrols the map. It's just it's beautiful to watch, right? There's a confidence in the way that he plays, always making the right moves at the right time. But then for Pistola, it's about the way that he draws attention to himself and creates opportunities for the rest of his squad. So when you see him fragging out, that is a problem, because if he's doing well, ooh, boy, better watch out, Sentinels. It's going to be a short day.
Yeah, it is indeed. But we have to do a super quick prediction, though, gentlemen, because the game is ready to go. So I need to know exactly what you're thinking and feeling. Make the decision.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Oh!
Do you see the Golden Boy homework copy there?
I did not do the homework copy. It's just that
we have it on tape.
I have this like
roll it back.
Replay has it on tape.
I have this crappy card here that Gaskin made that I can't possibly use.
Later on, we can ask for the replay of
no
how Golden Boy handled that.
We will.
There's no art, like there's no graphics.
You're not
VOD,
getting away
my
with
friend.
it this time.
We'll know exactly
By the way, I'm Optic.
what happened. We're going to talk to our casters right now who are going to be getting into this incredible series.
Ask Gaskin why he made this.
It's great
Gaskin.
artwork.
No, it's
great
not.
artwork.
It's trash, Dan.
I just need to check in. Is Mark okay? There was a point where I was concerned that there was a lot of testosterone flowing on that
Too
desk.
much testosterone on that desk
is
right
he
now.
all right?
This is coming from Wes Price, the man who
Well,
literally,
I
I raised
hope-
my voice to your normal level.
I also really hope you're not talking about me, because there's certainly no testosterone coming across this
And
side
same
of the
here
desk. I just want to
too.
let you know right now. But gentlemen, there is a lot of testosterone on that main stage, and it's not just because they're boys, but they are really heating up right
Well, it
now.
might be, but
Probably is.
Why are we talking about this stuff?
I'm worried about that.
Anyway, hormones
We'll
aside,
take the game.
let's get it over to you boys right
Why
now.
are we talking about this?
Good night, y'all. We'll see y'all later.
Can't trust
All
him.
right, here we go. We got the last series of the night. It's Saturday night, winners bracket semifinals, Dan. And we have Optic Gaming versus Sentinels. We've been waiting for this series for a long time, especially since the last time we saw these two teams play on LAN. And that was with Formal, but we did see that Game 5 the first time around this season, and what a Game 5 it was.
I think we've been waiting for it. They've been waiting for it. The people watching at home have been waiting for it. Even production, they've been waiting for it as well. And we are almost there to get underway. Mark hit a really good point on the desk when we saw that series layout. He said, Game 1 is such a strong game type for Sentinels, not the best for Optic. Game 2, a strong one for Optic, not so much for Sentinels. That tees us up perfectly for maybe a 1-1 and might lead towards another Game 5, because we've had so many Game 5s already in this tournament. And I think, looking at their layout, we might have another one.
Ladies and gentlemen, fasten your seatbelts. If you've learned anything this weekend, it's that Dan and I, when we cast Game 5s happen, we can only hope that is the case here. We're gonna hop in. It's Streets Strongholds to kick this one off, and we're going with Snakebite, Mr. Game 5 from earlier today, but he's already under fire, taken down, and Trippy puts him down into respawn. And I love this already out of Optic Gaming. Rockets in the hands of APG as well.
Good starting strategy from Optic, just able to flank round in the right areas to ensure that APG had enough room through the middle of the map to pick up those rockets pretty much uncontested. Now I will say, the last 2 times these teams scrimmed recently, this game type went in favor of Sentinels both times. So Optic, if they could turn this one around, that would be huge for their chances in this winners bracket 7.
Optic Gaming know that coming into this series, if they're able to take this Game 1, steal this away from a favorite game type of Sentinels, that would be massive for the rest of the series. Let's see if they have what it takes. Already up to a 24-point lead, and a great job so far to stay alive by APG, but more so Optic Gaming flipping the map. A and B control, but APG has his eyes set on C, and he may be able to transfer this one over, but he does have to worry about this pesky player over in the commando hall, but that player's long gone, Bradley. You need to figure out what the next play is. I love this by him to hop into C, but unfortunately, it's with a lot of wasted time, which has allowed Sentinels to get control.
Well, that's one of the downsides sometimes of pushing into C. If it goes wrong, if you don't get those kills, you lose A and B and you lose your control. APG, he tried to pinch, but it didn't work out. The team went down, and now they've got to fight out of station, which is difficult, especially when Frosty and Snakebite are watching it so eagerly over from the other side.
One of the most difficult pushes in Halo Infinite is up this driveway, but we're seeing Optic Gaming get the first pick, and that is a successful push by the members in green here on the main stage. A phenomenal job by APG to rotate back, but unfortunately, as he does that, he guessed wrong again because Sentinels have their eyes set on B, and APG has his hands full with multiple members in front of him. Does get one, gets another player weak, but just like that, he's taken down, and Sentinels are going to get B control once again.
It was important what APG did, though. Going back to C, even though it was the wrong guess, as it were, you need a player who is going to prioritize going back to C just to check there's no one flanking behind you, because otherwise the pinch can then come through from C and A if you don't do it correctly. Rockets have spawned. Both teams have got eyes on them. You've just got to have someone who's brave enough to dive on them.
Yeah, and it's going to be Frosty, the bravest man in the series so far. Picking up those rockets, staying alive, 2 down for Optic Gaming as well. Frosty does get a reset onto A, does have rockets in his back pocket, and with A and B controlled, you're going to see Sentinels gain the lead for the first time here in game 1, 53-50 and counting. But Frosty, he's not okay with just a double cap. It looks like he wants to push for the triple. And look at this, somehow he's got the perfect timing behind Optic Gaming, finds the double. Can he get the triple? Nobody in sight. But that's a good sign for Frosty because that means he gets to hop into C for free.
Great trigger discipline there as well from Frosty, not firing that rocket straight away, instead just trying to better his chances of picking up the 2. Played to perfection, they get the triple cap, and now Frosty can do exactly what he's just done to C, over towards A. You pressure that stronghold that's being taken, you're the nuisance, you're getting behind the back line, and unfortunately gets spotted out.
6-1-1 Frosty is. They need to figure out a way to take him down, and just like that, that's going to be Trippy getting that kill. That's a big one for Trippy, as he gets numbers in his team advantage. 3 go down for Sentinels. You see Trippy immediately hop into C. The rest of the boys for the green wall should be able to secure B and then focus on A. I love this flip of the map by Optic.
Snakebite got a really important trade there just to mean that B was going to be a little bit more difficult. Frosty needs to stay alive, which he will. Trippy doing some amazing damage, but now Sentinels, who spawned over towards Cafe, have to decide whether they want to try and fight for B or C here. If you go towards C, you leave yourself vulnerable from being shot from top stairs, so I think B is probably the correct fight.
2 members of Optic spotted, hopping into B, but he knows Roll 2's around here. Does land the headshot, and a nice shot from Trippy to deny Roll 2 pushing into C. Able to at least keep C controlled while his teammates come off respawn. 3 dead for Sentinels momentarily, as you saw the last player going for that set of rockets taken down. Trippy doing a phenomenal job with the Stalker Rifle so far. Good damage on this Tires players, keeping Lucid alive, and 10 kills to his name. Can he get the 11th here? He's got Frosty no shield in the back of PD. He's got Lethal no shield in front of him, and Trippy is popping off.
And Trippy knew he couldn't just stay in C and use the Stalker Rifle forever because the team weren't picking up any points. He had to move around the map and put that damage to a use where they could actually gain control, and because of that, they get that triple cap temporarily. Sentinels now forced back into station, but here comes the press, that triple cap, and these points, they're starting to really tally up now.
Unbelievable rocket from Owa to get that kill on the Frosty. 3 dead for Sentinels momentarily, but still, look at how dominant Optic Gaming is being right now with the sandbox. Trippy had the Stalker and the Bulldog. Owa has the rockets. Everything in the hands of Optic Gaming, as well as 3 strongholds to match, and this score starting to climb up. They've already taken the lead and starting to climb and gain even further. You need to see Sentinels try and get out of this trap, but a phenomenal job by Optic to slow the game down and not overextend to A there.
So many points gathered by Optic there, but I will commend Sentinels for their patience. They didn't just scatter and try and jump in any old stronghold. They instead grouped up off spawn and ensured they pushed together to stop the dominance that Optic had found. And even though they're still being scored against, at least they've got a little bit more control here, and finally they should be able to get B on the board. A and B forcing now Optic back towards C once more.
Yeah, Optic does have a 30-point lead to play around though, so they don't have to rush. They still are winning this game. A great job by Lucid to back out of that fight against Roll 2 and stay alive, create an opportunity for his teammates to get some space. But right now, you're seeing Optic Gaming in a lot of trouble. 2 members go down. The third is going to be traded out. A good trade, though, from Lucid to release some of the pressure. But unfortunately, it does look like if Frosty can get this kill, he would have had a trip cap, but another big one from Trippy, and that's 13 on the board for him.
That's a huge reset from Trippy. It stops the total control, stops the triple cap from happening, and now Snakebite, though, meanwhile, has found these rockets. He does connect, but it's not enough to get the kill. But he did get the information at the very least that there is 1 player towards Red Room. So he just needs to communicate that to the rest of the team now so they can fight these players on driveway.
They're going to try and fight up driveway as Optic. 1 player flanks around, and it's the perfect flank that catches Snakebite and Royal 2 off guard. They both go down, and Optic now with numbers look to push A.
so much history between these two teams. Onset brought it up. They played each other in Rally, and of course APG on the Sentinels roster during the Halo 3 revival, during the MCC series as well. There's going to be a lot of pride on the line here, and even though it's only the winner's bracket at the moment, there's still that second chance in the elimination bracket. We know how deadly that elimination bracket is. Looking at the teams that are still alive in this tournament, they are all eager to make their way to the grand final. So you want to give yourself the best chance of getting there yourself here in winner's bracket.
Massive beatdown kill from Lucid there to take down Frosty. Snakebite goes down as well. Optic once again in the driver's seat. Lethal with this Bulldog jumping into tires though. Does have the advantage with this close-range combat on Trippy, takes him down, and that's a big kill as well because taking down Trippy at this point, it's a must. He's got 14 kills, so taking him down is going to be big. Stopping him from raining terror, perfect shots on the Lucid. You tried to get around the corner. Lethal says no shot this time around. Those are two very important kills that swing control back in Sentinels' favor, and this is what you want to see if you're a Sentinels fan. Lethal starting to heat up.
Well, that's twice now Optic have had total control, but maybe we're too aggressive with their push onto C because they gave up too much of the map. But APG gets the better of Lethal. At least Snakebite's there to clean things up. But we really need to see Sentinels stop this B push right here, right now, because otherwise this game could be going in favor of Optic. Rockets up in 3 seconds.
Rockets coming up could decide the winner of this game one. This last set of Rockets is massive, and the first death is going to go to Sentinels. Optic Gaming should have the numbers in order to secure this. And yes, Lucid bottom middle with those Rockets already with the first kill in the chamber. Got one left to play around. The kills all around him. You have to think that he even gets to save this rocket and pressure C with it. And Snakebite, he's long gone after that perfect rocket from Lucid. A phenomenal job of Optic Gaming to get that first pick and capitalize. A stick comes through, doing it all with everything he's got. Lucid is starting to heat up as well.
There is a lot of eyes on this young man. Lucid is being potentially one of those players who is claiming as the best in Halo Infinite right now, and he is certainly proving it. 224 to 189. Optic are closing in on taking map 1, which would really help them in the favorite situation when it comes to these maps.
If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And although Sentinels not your reigning champions, they are on the way to those reigning champions. So Lucid doing everything he can to make that statement a very factual reality. What can Sentinels do, though? That stick could be what takes it. They do hop into C momentarily. Can they get it? Absolutely not. Optic shut them down. They get them out. They get 250 points in game 1, and that's going to give them the lead here in this series.
So what has historically been quite a strong game type for Sentinels is taken by Optic, and that swings the entire series into the Green Wall's favor. When I'm looking at the stats and I'm looking who should be winning what, I had that down as almost a Sentinels guaranteed win. So that is a huge, huge swing here in this series already in game 1. And maybe that's going to have to try and wake Sentinels up quickly.
Smiles on the face of the boys for the Green Wall on main stage. You know, Trippy, it was Onset that said on the desk, I really want to see him have one of those memorable series that were like, that was the Trippy series where he broke out in his infinite form, right? We know Trippy has stepped up in the online qualifiers, had a solid performance at Raleigh, but with everything going on for this Green Wall team, they need someone to step up. It was Trippy with 18, 11, and 6, but Lucid right behind him.
Yeah, I mean, both Trippy and Lucid were on fire, but also the rotations of the entire squad. And even though at times it felt like they were being too aggressive, it was that one period where they had total control, all 3 strongholds down, and Sentinels were not able to get out of their spawn. And even though I did commend Sentinels for their approach and their patience, unfortunately it was just a little bit too slow, and it's something that they're probably going to need to tighten up in future when we look towards matchups that are going to feature this game type once more. But that was a very entertaining game 1, as Stronghold Streets always is. It's so fast-paced, it's so much about the slaying. That's why you need players like Trippy and Lucid to step up, because if you can just run around this map and win your individual engagements and then also assist your team, like I've heard people call this basically a slayer. If you outslay the other team, you're probably going to win Stronghold Streets, and I think we saw that here from Optic Gaming.
What a better way to outslay your opponents when you have the opportunity to use the sandbox in these situational advantages. So often did we see Trippy, Lucid with the Stalker Rifle, rockets in hand, the Bulldog shotgun was used, even the Disruptor, giving Lucid some quick melees in the tire situation, allowed him to just have one advantage to get his team numbers, and when Optic Gaming has numbers, you can bet that they're going to take advantage of the situation from there on out.
Aquarius Slayer is going to be game 2 then, and it is a game that, historically, Sentinels have not been very good at. In fact, there has been some times where they've looked pretty awful at this game type, if I'm honest. They did, however, make a fantastic comeback against XZ earlier in this tournament when they were 12, 15 kills down in this game type, but you can't afford to go 12 to 15 kills down against Optic Gaming. Optic have also been taking this game type off of Sentinels in the scrims they've been playing recently, but it has been around 50 to 48. So I'm not saying this is out of reach for Sentinels, but certainly I am leaning towards Optic Gaming having the advantage.
I'm right there with you. I think if Optic Gaming can get the ball rolling quickly, if Sentinels fall behind the 8 ball here very early in this game, they will not have the same outcome that they had against XZ. They will not be able to come back 15 kills against this Optic Gaming team. They will not let this happen. So this is a moment in this series where it will be decided that either Optic Gaming take a massive advantage going up 2-0, or will Sentinels tie this one up 1-1. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have Aquarius Slayer. The first team to 50 kills will take this game. And Dan, you said Optic Gaming having a heavy favorite coming into this. You know that they're passionate about trying to get this win, especially against one of their bigger rivals. And Sentinels, what do you think Optic Gaming can do early on to get Sentinels on their back feet?
I think you've got to get that first camouflage. You've got to assert a little bit of dominance, but this is going to be a restart on this particular matchup before we can even see what's going to happen in that starting strategy. But I do think it's important for your starting strategy to not overextend for that camouflage straight away so you can be vulnerable to a team just baiting you. Instead, you want to get your grenades into the right place so you can take map positioning on top car and top P, shoot down the other team to a point where they have to back into the closet. That's when you take the camo, and you can really start to snowball out of control because you get a couple of kills, you force the split spawns, then you push and get aggressive on the 2 that are left remaining, then you're going to get rewarded by camouflages, and it all starts to add up. And that's why we saw at one point earlier in this tournament Sentinels really struggling because they were 10, 12 kills behind, except were being that snowbally way. But I don't think an Optic Gaming roster are going to let that slip. I think if they start to gain control, if they start to snowball, it will go even further. You're looking at steak dinner possibilities there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so early in Infinite did we see highlight reels come from Lucid and what he was doing with the heat wave, with thrust in the closets. Aquarius is a field trip for some of these guys that have the movement to keep up with it. They can hit some of these slides across the map so quickly. You know, Trippy saying, Lucid, sorry, they've almost perfected some of the movement capabilities, especially on the small map like Aquarius, and it gives them such a big advantage. If you are Sentinels, you have to figure out a way to control the pace, because with Optic Gaming has the space to play around the map, it is so difficult to kill a player like Pistola as well when he gets bottom middle, no shield.
Yeah, Pistola loves to just roam around and look to try and finish all those kills. The damage that's being put down as game 2 now will be underway, and I speak about the damage. Lucid is just going to sit base, he's going to anchor. Anchors are very important in Aquarius, we know that.
Yeah, Roll 2, one of the best anchors in the game as well, but Lucid actually getting the better of him early on, but Sentinels winning the starting strat 3-1 now, and that's a very hot start for Sentinels. You needed to see that happen. APG, the last guy alive for Optic Gaming, trying to compete, trying to deny camo from going into the hands of Sentinels, but that wasn't done. APG loses his life, and Snakebite able to get this camo secured.
Royal 2 is just going to venture out to clear one area for Snakebite, and now he can give all that information. He would have seen Frosty go down, they know they're in the closet, and now Snakebite has the opportunity to pick up a big kill to try and get things back here. Unfortunately, the melee gets hit onto him, and he's probably going to fall because of it, which he will. But we're tied up 5-5, quite an even start between these two teams, but these Dynamo nades, the sizzle sticks, they're so important to time, so important to be holding this car side.
So much information they're able to give you, not only pairing that with the damage, but although those Dynamo grenades don't become too effective there, all they do is halt Optic Gaming from being able to push out of that closet, as they do weaken a few players. Frosty opts to actually back up to the opposite base and play an anchor position for his team. Does suspect someone's going to be pushing him from the utility closet. Unfortunately, nobody on Optic Gaming quite there. There is one in the hallway, though, and it's Owa getting the better of Frosty, at least in that fight.
One day, I'll get you to say sizzle sticks. It's going to happen.
I'm going
to get the man who works for 3v3 to say it, because that's what they should have been called. 9-6 is going to be the scoreline then. And it's a 3-kill advantage for Optic. We said that Sentinels cannot go too far behind, otherwise this could get out of control, and what a way to respond that is.
Nice double kill from Frosty before he gets taken down. Ola with 5 kills already to his name. Snakebite does find this heat wave on the ground after Frosty found that double, though. So the power weapon now in Snakebite's hand. He had an opportunity with Camo, not too successful with that one. Only 1 kill to his name with that one, but this heat wave, it can do a ton of damage if he's able to get to utility, but right now he's playing that anchor position and a phenomenal job of doing so. Great shots across the map to take down Lucid. A little bit of an overextension there, but APG in the meantime, he secured Camo, somehow got away with it.
That's the thing, even though Snakebite was anchoring, the rest of the team fell elsewhere, and unfortunately he had to turtle up, he had to wait for the rest of the team to spawn, and now because of that, APG's got the camouflage, and here comes the cavalry to try and sweep up. This is what I'm on about. When you're on that spawn and you're trapped in those bases, an aggressive team will take full advantage of your backs being against the wall. They'll use those nades, they'll use this camouflage, and they'll start to gain a kill lead.
A killing spree for APG is bad signs for Sentinels fans as Optic Gaming jump up to an 8-kill lead already. Pistola got that heat wave in hand. He's going to have lethal to deal with in this utility closet. Wisely gets out of dodge there. Doesn't want to lose this power weapon. Wants to get it closer to his team. But unfortunately, Snakebite able to finish him off. Bottom Dynamos. Snakebite looking to be aggressive, though. A little bit of a push here from Sentinels could go a long way if they're able to get some unanswered kills. 6 kills still separate these two as Snakebite forced it back down once again.
I think aggression is going to be key here for the Sentinels. Don't allow Optic Gaming to get too much control and be able to dictate the pace in this game. Oh, that's perfectly played though from Optic. The bait and switch, APG dangled that hook and they came reeling.
Oh, nice job there by Trippy to win that trade. They were both no shields. Roll 2 was looking for it, but couldn't find the correct reticle placement, and Trippy expected that double back, knowing his teammate had him on death cam. Trippy already off to 6 kills, but so are APG and OWA, so all of Optic Gaming doing a great job so far in this game. 2 to push their team in the lead.
Camouflage is going to be up in 6. Trippy is just going to wait patiently here, seeing if he can maybe do a job to work with it. And this next camouflage could really be the difference maker for Sentinels, because that 5-kill gap, if they don't get the camo, could suddenly become 8, 9, 10 kills. So they know full well they need to be in a position to at least contest this one.
No, Optic Gaming is not in a position to contest this one as Lucid tries to push up the pink stairs across the map. He gets taken down. 2 members of Optic go down. Trippy on the bottom of the map can't compete for camo. Good shot from the Commando though, and that is a massive kill to release some of the pressure. Unfortunately though, that kill not going to deny camo from going into the hands of Snakebite. Once again, Snakebite had camo earlier in the game, only was able to find 1 kill before unfortunately being meleeed by a no-shield player. What is he going to do now with this time around? Does spot Trippy back to base, gets thrust. I actually love the fact that he picks up this thrust because it gives him so much of an opportunity in these fights. He is going to find Lucid with this pistol, quickly pulls out his VR, pushes Trippy. Trippy with great shots once again trades the camo out, and another unsuccessful camo push from Sentinels.
2-kill advantage for Sentinels, for Optic Gaming, against Sentinels, and that's so much better from them. It could have gone completely the other way, but the way they were able to force Trippy back and ensure they got that camouflage, and also what Snakebite's been doing with each camouflage. He's been patient, he's just provided information. You've got to know you're invisible, not invincible sometimes with that camo, but we're all tied up 27 to 27, and it has been just good control from the Sentinels roster, not allowing Optic Gaming to get too aggressive and really dictate the pace.
Yeah, not too long ago, it was Optic with an 8-kill lead looking to blow this one wide open, but Sentinels doing a phenomenal job of battling back, getting successful wins in these team fights, and Frosty with a big pick on the APG as multiple members of Optic Gaming are now stuck in this closet. They need to figure out a way to get their shield back. Lucid can't do so. He goes down on top of Dynamo. Snakebite does get traded out by Ola, and that's a big kill from Ola once again.
Notice how pretty much every time we jump on board with a different player, it's a sidekick or it's going to be a commando. There's always one of these weapons that can make a difference in these close range engagements. Heatwave for lethal. The sandbox is being used time and time again to try and give these players that little bit of an advantage when they do engage in these fights. As Camo's up once more. Royal 2 wants it, but he knows he can't jump for it just crazily.
Yeah, Royal 2, not the kind of player that's going to sprint top middle for that camo. Does get great damage onto Ola, backs APG as well, so Sentinels in the background are going to be securing this camo as Royal 2 pushes up. I actually love this push by him. He's got Trippy in his sights, but APG still alive with that heat wave, able to do some damage to him. But Trippy running for his life right now into the closet is going to eventually be taken down. And a great job by Royal 2 to create space on the map for his team, allow Snakebite another chance. This is his 3rd camo of the game.
Snakebite certainly has been the one who's been gifted these camouflages, and he has made them work as well. Should be able to give that info, which he will. A 4-kill lead now for the Sentinels roster in a game type which historically they've not been that great at. I tell you, this would be massive if they can find a victory here.
Throw the analytics out the window because Sentinels have every intention of tying this series up. A double kill from Frosty as he looks to push into the base spots. Multiple players trapped like rats in the back of yellow. Can Frosty find the pick? APG, perfect shots, take Frosty down, but the rest of Sentinels are there to trade these kills out. And with a 5-kill lead now, Sentinels, all they need to do is trade out. 7 more kills to go.
Snakebite is so good at staying alive, by the way. Uses the dynamos to get that information and provide the damage so he can get the assist, but most importantly, didn't die and give the kill away to Optic Gaming. Now they're only 5 away. They have a 7-kill, 8-kill lead now. Surely they can't throw this one away.
Surely there's nothing Optic Gaming can do with the positions they have on the map. Currently, they're going to have some phenomenal teamwork in order to get out of this situation. 2 dead for Sentinels, so Optic Gaming using a little bit of the teamwork to get out of this situation. 3 straight unanswered kills, and his camo about to come up. Maybe, just maybe, Optic Gaming can create this comeback. 4 kills to go. Sentinels find 1. Top pink, find a second in the corner, and now it's all she wrote. 1 more kill. APG stuck in the window behind the pillar, and Lethal, he's not going to let APG get out of this situation alive.
That's going to be the final kill then, and we are going to tie up this series 1-1. So the favorable game types for each team have gone to their opposition, but that still leaves us in the same scenario we thought we would be in after the first 2 games, and that is a tied series going into map number 3. Very impressed, though, with how Sentinels played that game, especially considering a lot of the stigma there is around them on this map and how much they have struggled previously. Clearly, they've gone over some of the footage and they've worked out what has not been working for them.
A little bit of shock on the faces of Optic as we got an opportunity to check them reactions to that game 2 loss out. They're thinking to themselves, we were up 19-11, where did it all go wrong? Well, giving up 5 straight camos in a row might have something to do with it, so you want to prioritize power-ups coming into the rest of the series. If the Green Wall won any opportunity at the Winners Bracket Finals against Cloud9, they're going to have to do a much better job of controlling those power-ups and the power weapons, because that was a Sentinel show the second half of that game too.
Yeah, and standout players, Snakebite and Royal 2 in terms of the kills. And you don't understand why Snakebite was able to get the kills, because he had those camouflages so many times. He was able to get that initial advantage in the engagements. But look at the damage that Frosty did. Even though Frosty had the most deaths and he didn't have the most kills, he was the one who is maybe providing these kills to be available for the rest of the team. And that goes back to a point I made when we watched Sentinels last time. If Frosty isn't going to be that big slayer, if he's still out there doing the damage he usually does but not finding the kills, that is great news for Sentinels, because they can all then flood around him and find victories because of it.
Yeah, ignore the kill-death ratio there. Look at the damage dealt, damage taken. Frosty led his team in both those, meaning he was creating so much of an impact for the Sentinels roster to have success there in game 2, creating space for his team to pick up those camos, to pick up those one-shot kills, and because of it now, Sentinels are right back in this series.
Some amazing individual fights from both sides. You've got to say and just appreciate that we're watching some of the best Halo Infinite that's on offer here in North America, and let's be honest, the world, and I can confidently say that even from Europe. But it means we go into a map number 3, which is going to be Bizarre CTF. Now, I mean, I've gone over stats and I've gone over the scrim history.
Let's hear it.
Well, I guess Sentinels, they have been better on this game type. This has been one they've won comfortably against Optic Gaming. Optic haven't even been able to get any flags in the last 2 scrims they played against each other. Sentinels winning it 3-0 and 2-0. So that would say to me that Sentinels have a better idea of how to get that flag out of the base, because it's not an easy thing to do.
0 flag caps given up this weekend by Sentinels, so maybe it's not just Optic being shut out of CTF Bizarre when these guys feature themselves into a series, because defense wins championships is the saying, and apparently Sentinels might win championships if CTF Bizarre comes up more often.
Well, let's look at Bizarre at its very core. You've got rocket launcher and you've got an overshield. 2 things that you really have to focus on: the timing and the ability to play around them. Let's look at the camouflage that we just saw on Aquarius and how many times we saw Snakebite pick that up on Sentinels. If they can play in that same style over on Bizarre, then you'd imagine they're going to be in a really good position to use those power weapons and power abilities to then move on and get a flag.
It's a big if. I do not expect Optic to continue to make that mistake. They are too tried, true, and tested. They are too practiced coming into this event to just ignore the power-ups and power weapons here in Game 3. They understand why they lost Game 2, but let's move on, boys. It's a best of 5 for a reason. This series is all tied up, ladies and gentlemen. We have CTF Bazaar loading up on our screens. And like you said, Dan, this battle for the middle of the map, that overshield, that set of rockets, it's so important to get off on the right foot.
Starting strategy, very important. I know full well Sentinels like to send players out of those double doors, and Lethal will instantly get the Dynamo nades and will get control of the overshield here, so the perfect start here for Sentinels.
Well, Lethal with that kill is going to get that overshield. Let's see what he can do with it now. Got a player in this corner. He knows Trippy is up here. He heard him with some of those Dynamo grenades. Trippy has gotten his shield back ever since, but that overshield makes this kill so much easier for Lethal. And now with this space, are they going to be able to do anything? Because on the other side of the map, Frosty actually did get taken down, so Lucid, a phenomenal kill to subside this Sentinels push, but still Sentinels in control.
Well, Sentinels, they have not conceded a flag on this game type all tournament long, so something must be going very right with their communications. Let's hop into an Astro listening and see what it's like.
APG. Nothing pushing you yet.
Double doors.
Double doors. You're gonna push you, I think. Gonna push you.
APG's
gonna push you.
Could be weak.
No, nothing pushing you.
No, they're just waiting.
Still
Yeah, they're waiting. They wait.
Rockets, Lucid. They're trying to kill tree.
Yeah, cause it.
Left side tree.
One hit market, Teach. One of you. Got us.
Good job, Teach. I push the tree. No,
right, Lucid was top rockets, right?
They're tree weak still.
Weak the BR.
I'm getting out.
I got spiked. He's on.
They're causing.
Grapple.
To market. This is one hit.
Our fruit.
Nice.
APG.
Nice,
It's gonna be one
more, PJ, careful.
We gotta go rogue,
We'll be in 30.
We're dead. Where they at?
I don't know, balcony and
they're balcony. I think he is, yeah. Dropping on
I'll mark it.
Here, TJ, film.
He jumped up. Their side free.
Yeah.
There's some hectic communication from Sentinels, a very scrappy game that's underway between these two teams. Neither able to really get in and behind enemy lines or into that base because they're so evenly contested with these shots just being drilled across map.
Yeah, look at Trippy's position right now in bar. A phenomenal spot for him to be in, especially with that Mangler. 2 members down for Sentinels, so we're going to see how strong their defense is even with the lower numbers here. Ola able to pick up that overshield. First power up of the series, I'd say, for Optic Gaming. Now, what is Ola going to do? You know, Trippy had a Mangler. Ola now has a Mangler. With this overshield, so much potential with this combination. Can he find the entry pick? No one quite there on his screen yet for Sentinels, so he's going to try and find a pick, but unfortunately, players seem to be dodging him. A big finish onto Lethal, get 2 down, and he knows Snakebite's in that vent, but he needs to worry about the rest of the base because right now he's being flanked. Good help from Trippy across the map. Take him down, and Ola being such a nuisance right now.
And you could just see Pistola's head on a swivel, listening to those callouts, waiting to see where he can strike, where he can be an influence with this Mangler. He knows there's someone below him down in the Bulldog area, but he's reluctant to give up this bar space. It's so important to control bar of your enemy team.
He was waiting for teammates that whole time, and unfortunately not able to get there as the rest of Optic Gaming, as Ola forced to relinquish his position there in the bar, but now he's relocated himself with a flank through big doors. Do Sentinels expect him to be here? The answer was no at first, but now that they know he's here, Ola forced to once again stay alive. But look at this life. I mean, Ola has been alive for at least like the last minute, being such a nuisance for Sentinels to try and deal with.
Notice how every single time a player, by the way, when they run through the middle of the map, they will check the Dynamo nades, they will check the grapple, and even though those callouts are probably coming from their coach, you've always just got to keep an eye on it as Frosty picks up a big double kill here for Sentinels as they look to try and wrestle back some control on this map because they've been on the back foot for quite a long period of time now. It's been a couple of minutes where Optic have been in their base.
Here we go. Will we see a cap go against the Sentinels team on CTF Bazaar? The flag already in the middle of the map. Lucid looks to try and slay here, knowing Frosty is going to be weak to that Dynamo grenade, but a great job by Ola and Lucid to slow this game down. Royal 2 has no idea they're still in the bar, and unfortunately for Royal 2, he's down. Lucid on a killing spree.
Well, when it comes to slays, Optic are very much winning in that department, but Ola falls as well. Sentinels will get some really important kills, and because of that one, Frosty surely can help try and get a re-hit, but no, still going to be a touch.
Wait a minute, Trippy was the last guy alive, does get a touch after getting a double, but what is the rest of Sentinels going to do about it? Snakebite hunts down Lucid into the bar off respawn, able to take him down, and with this overshield, a little bit of shield left, he is going to spot Ola in this corner, but Ola with the Mangler gets that massive kill. The flag return does come through, but a massive kill from Ola to once again help defend his base.
What's important, though, is the re came through from Sentinels. So Snakebite still did his job. And I tell you, even though the Mangler, very powerful right now, I don't think we need to beat around the bush. It's still not easy to hit those shots consecutively on a player like Snakebite strafing his way with an overshield against you. So hats off to Pistola for still pulling that one off and making sure he got the kill. But Sentinel still not allowing Optic to get that pull, despite the fact that it's the slaying department. I mean, Lucid's got 12, Trippy and Ola are 11 together. This is scary for Sentinels. They're being outslayed heavily right now.
They're being outslayed, but they have not given up a real opportunity to flag up, other than the one that they did get out of the base and into the middle of the map. But Sentinels was able to get those kills. Optic Gaming is having to work so hard to try and get this flag out of the base. When you're able to outplay Sentinels to the way that they're doing it, and you still can't get objective done, at some point you have to think that Sentinels is going to get a flag cap on the board. But just like that, Optic in the base, spot Frosty get the flag out as well. Frosty taking down 3 dead for Sentinels, and the flag being thrown through the big door by APG right now. This is going to be the first one on the board, and it's in Optic Gaming's hands.
2 scrims, they couldn't get it done, and no one else in this tournament so far has capped the flag against Sentinels on this map. But Optic, finally, thanks to the killing sprees we've seen from Lucid, are able to get that flag out and pop one in. Overshield going to be up in 6 seconds, and Rockets as well. So this is a very important time for one of these teams to try and solidify some map control.
A great dynamo grenade from APG. Unfortunately, Snakebite reading him like a book. Gets that melee kill. Now it's Snakebite trying to defend this overshield, but Trippy has it on his sight. Able to pick up those fresh dynamo grenades, put them to use as well. So a battle bottom middle right now is Lucid. Able to get a double kill, is going to secure overshield once again, and we're already seeing Optic Gaming do so much better of a job of controlling the overshield this game, and what a difference it's been.
Great thrust as well there from Lucid, recognizing the chance of possibility of being a plasma pistol in that treehouse.
He's got
thrusting
19
instantly, and as you say, 19 kills, but 19 kills, but only 1 flag ahead. Although I say that, 1 flag on Bazaar sometimes can be enough.
5 minutes left. The clock will start to become a factor as it continues to tick down. We have not seen Sentinels in control in such a long time, and that is largely to do with this man on screen, Lucid, having a phenomenal Game 3 to once again push his team into the lead. 19 kills to his name. You can bet a 20th is on the way here shortly. The way he's playing, he's got Bulldog in hand, expects players to be Rockets out of the map, but nobody home for Sentinels just yet.
It's such a nice feeling as a player as well when you look towards those stats on, you press back, and you're like, oh, I'm absolutely destroying the other team right now. There's going to be so much confidence for Lucid, and he can play in whatever way he wants right now. I think that the kills are almost coming toward him with the shots that he's been hitting, but that flag is going to be pulled, and Lucid gets spotted out, so he has to fight tooth and nail to stay alive.
This is dangerous, though. They do get a pick on the roll, too. Frosty's going to end up coming back, but Lucid takes care of both of them. Make it 21 for him. The flag was being run for Sentinels, but Sentinels can no longer run this flag. Last 2 players alive are at Lucid's base, and he has every intention of pushing these guys. Takes down 1, has information on the last, and in the meantime, Optic Gaming are running the flag across the map.
Pistola being a nuisance as well and managing to take down Snakebite, who might have been able to do a job with that Bulldog, but APG gets the flag across, will go down, but surely there's someone else to try and pick this one up. Pistola's going to be the closest player at the moment. Trippy off spawn is there as well. This is looking like it might be 2-0.
Absolutely, this is going to be 2-0. Trippy off spawn, able to punch that one in on screen. But that was all Lucid. That flag cap right there, you said, oh, he's only got 19. They only have 1 flag. Whoa, Lucid shuts us up real quick with a few kills of his own that secure a second flag on the board for Optic Gaming.
It's about getting those kills at the right time to allow the team to get the flag across the map, and Lucid did just that. He played it perfectly, also utilized the grapple to get across the map as quick as possible. But Snakebite behind enemy lines should be able to get 1 and will get enough damage to at least communicate to Lethal to maybe pick up 1 more.
Man, that could have been a big flank for him if he's able to get a few kills right there and get a flag run started. But right now, down 2-0, 3 minutes are just on the clock for Sentinels to try and tie this one up. And Optic Gaming don't look to have any idea of slowing down right now. 24 kills. I repeat, 24 in this lobby. He's almost got twice. He does have twice as many kills as the next person in line. And Pistola secured these rockets, picks up not 1, but some great damage onto a second.
We heard in the interview earlier from Pistola that they feel like they're one of the most practiced teams in this tournament, and I think the results that we're seeing on the maps that arguably are some of the better ones for Sentinels proves just that. They've looked into what they need to improve on, where they can beat these teams, and they are demonstrating that they are the real deal here in Game 3.
Practice makes perfect, and that's what Optic Gaming has been preaching to themselves coming into this event. No days off. You heard it from Ola, like you said, and those days off, because they didn't take any, they may be able to take this trophy home this weekend playing at this level. A phenomenal job from Pistola here to flush out the last member alive for Sentinels in his base. Now he looks to try and push middle of the map with his team. And Dan, another minute off the clock means Optic Gaming is 2 minutes away from taking Game 3.
Yeah, with 2 minutes left, if you're a Sentinels fan, heart in your mouth, and you're wondering, well, what can we do to actually get back into this game? They just need that one set of slays, regain control, and just start to get aggressive, start pulling flags. Snakebite has been trying to pull them. I'll credit him there. He's trying to be getting that flag to move, but sometimes it's not as simple as just getting the flag out. You need the slays to go alongside it. A very difficult map is Bizarre. That's why we only see it at 2-0.
You have to figure out a way to shut down Lucid, and unfortunately, easier said than done, as he had the last overshield of the game in his hands there, as he was able to put some phenomenal damage. And just being a nuisance in this bar is so difficult to deal with. Look, Snakebite having to run with his tail between his legs. 3 dead for Optic Gaming. Big kills come out of Sentinels, but with 1:15 on the clock, you got to get the flag running because you need 2 of them.
Yeah, you've got to be sprinting into the other base, and you've got to be looking at where those spawns are. But with Trippy taking down Snakebite, suddenly this becomes entirely a different story because it's a 3 versus 4, whilst you need to run a flag, not just 1, but 2. So all these kills are great, but now as they eventually fall, I think that pretty much solidifies this Game 3 going towards Optic Gaming. And just one little thing I want to touch on, Lucid, when he was holding bar then, he knew exactly where the grenades will be placed when they bank off the wall, that he hid behind the corner and didn't take any damage. It's tiny things like that that Lucid just seems to be a little bit further than everyone else in Halo right now.
Feels like every time we watch him play, we learn something new, and now we're learning that Optic Gaming is here to play, is going to compete for a championship here in Anaheim because they're 1 game away from going to the winners bracket finals.
Yeah, we saw fist bumps all round. Optic recognizing that with the time left, they have this one in the bag. Sentinels also just conceding it by saying we're not going to even be trying to pull these flags. So Optic go 2-1 up. Sentinels now find themselves behind, and we'll look to see whether they can try and take us to a Game 5 here on map number 4. Remember, Cloud9 waiting in that winners bracket final. I'm sure both of these teams would love the chance to try and take them on with that kind of safety blanket of the elimination bracket below them, rather so than battling back through that elimination bracket, maybe facing them in the grand final where you don't have that second chance of a loss.
Big time plays from the big time player on screen. That's Lucid there in Game 3 to push this team over the hump. It was earlier today we said Lucid's been having a semi-quiet tournament.
Yeah.
No longer that being the case as he steps up here in the winter semifinals. That was a phenomenal game by him, but it was really all of Optic Gaming's teamwork that was able to acquire these overshields to put Lucid in those positions that he excels so often in.
Yeah, the kills he was getting were amazing, but it's also the platform that his team were able to put him on so that he could actually get those kills. Sometimes it was just him, though, grappling from one side of the map to the other. 28 kills, 14 deaths, but you look at the assists from the rest of the team, 12 from Ola, 11 from Trippy, APG contributing as well. I mean, the least assists on his team for Lucid, you can't have everything, I guess.
You can't have everything, I guess, but it's probably hard to have assists when you're so efficient.
That's true. He was just pouring every single time, right?
Everybody I shot, I killed. Look, 6,100 damage, but look at Ola's damage. My God, 6,400, even more damage than Lucid. And with the kill differential being that great and Ola having that much damage, I would love to go back and rewatch his stream because those kind of games, they speak volumes to me when you have the opportunity to watch them. You will see how great of a player Ola is with stats like that.
And there was a time period where Pistola was consistently and constantly in the bar of Sentinels and they weren't able to get him out, and I think that was probably when he was emitting all that damage, because every single time they pushed either down towards the Bulldog, he was there dealing damage. If they pushed out onto the balcony, he was there shooting them in the back, and even though he would often retreat before he got the kill, he would be able to call that out, and it was often Lucid who would swoop on in with a grapple to finish off that kill. And then towards the latter stages of the game, it was Lucid who was dominating those bars, and you really can see how important it is to hold bar control from your opposition.
How much damage they were able to do with Manglers in that situation, Overshields in that situation, And I worried for Optic Gaming from Game 2. They lacked the ability to secure any of the camos in Game 2. They came away with a loss. In Game 3, it was a completely different story, Dan. They got almost every overshield, and because of it, they cruised to a Game 3 victory. But now, Live Fire Oddball, is this one of these game modes that's going to close the door on this series, Dan? Or are we quite possibly looking at a Game 5?
Well, I mean, if you had asked me this in Rally, I would have been saying this is an Optic game all day. They were never losing Live Fire, but that unfortunately didn't come to fruition when we started to see them play more online, and then this tournament they've also lost Live Fire as well, so they don't have that 100% record. You can see they're 4-1 in Pro Series in Oddball Live Fire, and in scrims against Sentinels, they have beaten them both times in the last 2 scrims they've played, but it has been 2-1 on both of those occasions, so they have been pretty close games. This means Sentinels do have a chance, and also the stats have gone out the window for this series. All the better games have gone in favor of the team who arguably should have been losing them.
So you're telling me analytics mean absolutely nothing and that we should just shut up and watch the players?
No, what I'm saying is that scrim results, even though they can tell us a story, sometimes teams are better at taking those scrim results and improving from them, and it would seem like both of these teams have worked really hard on arguably some of their weaker game types before this series.
Well, numbers hurt my head. Playing Halo does not. And that's why we play the game, Dan. Here we are. We have Game 4 loading up. It's Live Fire Strongholds. No, it's Oddball, isn't it? I'm sorry. Live Fire Oddball. And we'll see. Will Snakebite be as impactful as he was against FaZe with the Oddball, or was Optic Gaming going to stop this series short?
Plenty of death and carnage at bottom middle. Trippy just about escapes with his life, and Snakebite is going to be the other remaining player who decides to grab the ball. You don't want to be pushing the Mangler unless you've got a heat wave. That's a battle for the ages, and both players decide we don't really fancy it.
Gentleman's agreement to back up reset, but unfortunately Snakebite breaks it, also takes him down, and with that gets his team numbers advantage right back to the ball with Snakebite. He sees Royal 2 maybe needs some help, so he's going to drop that ball momentarily, but a trade from Royal 2 will secure some ball time here for Sentinels.
Something I will note and touch upon is that I was really impressed with Snakebite in particular in recharge ball earlier on today, and if they can take that same kind of similar ability to rotate the ball around the map, then they certainly do have a chance of taking down Optic here.
All right.
It's not off!
Snakebite, that little nudge, that little rail keeps that ball on the map, cost Snakebite his life right there. But as we hop on board with Lucid with this snipe in hand, ball in hand as well, let's hop on board with an Optic Gaming listen, and they seem to be rolling right now.
Top tower.
Dude, they're flying. One shot, C plat. He's on the box.
I'm rotating. I just got
open field. Open field.
2 on C box. 2 on C box. Another one there. He's going tower.
Live, guys.
I got to hide you.
3 on 3. Open field on Joey, weak.
Watch out on OS. Watch out. Literally behind
tower for sure.
Watch out nades. Watch out nades. He's a mangler.
I'm gonna push elbow.
Top tower right now.
Mangler is going. Dummy door with the mangler. Sitting nades. 2 there. 2 nades, guys. He dropped elbow.
One shot elbow. One shot elbow.
Nice job.
On the west and dummies.
One shot on camo. One shot on camo.
dead.
One shot on camo.
We have heavy numbers. Joey's getting ball. Go river maybe, Joey.
Yeah, he probably moved. I'm just gonna go this
Bottom middle on Joey.
Just one shot bottom mid. I got him.
Camo's coming, guys. 10 seconds.
Yo, top mid on me. Top mid, guys.
I'm going nest.
It's one shot. Tires. One shot going dummy door right now.
And top mid. Can't get away. On dummies.
Camo's up, guys.
Weak crossing.
Get ready to play that, Joey.
Dummies. Flank pillars.
Dummies. Toss it, Joey.
Elbow.
Got shots.
Ball's off. We're good.
Kind of weak. Jumping top nest. He's top nest still, Tommy.
Well, Lucid picks up right where he left off. That snipe not missing many of those shots, doing so much damage. But it is still Sentinels with those 6-point lead for now. Camo in the hands of Lethal as he's able to take down APG. Unfortunately, Roll 2 does go down with the ball, so that puts Lethal in a very difficult situation here. He's got to play his life. No ball time will be acquired now. And once again, Optic Gaming hunting that camo player down, taking him down before he's able to do too much, bodes well for their opportunity here in at least round 1.
Camo here instead of overshield I think is important actually for Optic Gaming because they haven't been too good at grabbing those power-ups, and if it was an overshield then I feel like that might actually give a little bit of an advantage to Sentinels. It is the stronger power-up in my opinion, but the camo still can play a big difference too. Lucid's been able to find a heat wave. It always seems like there's something in his hands that can make a difference, but look at the grenade placement.
Redead for Sentinels. Trippy picking up this new snipe, also picking up the heat wave, all the power in the map in Trippy's hands. Let's see what he can do with it here as he throws a nade. Doesn't know if that nade hit anybody, but it did rock a player to no shield. That's an easy assist for Trippy. You see the plus 50 points on screen. Trippy gonna have to stay alive here, though. Can't quite hit that no scope. And with this combination of power weapons in hand, as he loses teammates, he doesn't want to give these away. What does he choose? He chooses to push. Roll 2 goes down. A big kill to even out the odds here, but Trippy wisely playing his life so well. Repulsing over the door, doesn't give him a sightline to take him down. Immediately replaces himself. Bottom middle, able to find that kill, deny ball time. And Trippy doing everything he can to stop Sentinels as his team was getting overswayed.
Yeah, a really enjoyable life to watch there from Trippy with his movement from the repulsor and his ability to be aggressive when he needed to. But even though he does give these weapons away, he certainly made a difference in that little period of play. And Frosty looking to maybe take control of the camouflage here as well. Should be able to do so. It doesn't look like anyone from Optic Gaming is going to try and contest that. And I think that just says how they feel about the camo.
Yeah, Frosty opting to not try and push with his team here, but to wait for camo. Optic Gaming did give that camo up, but in the meantime, they've racked up some ball time. Ball carrier does get ripped as Frosty looks to push elbow. A nice assist as well. Can Frosty stay alive? Yes! Roll 2 keeps him alive, and that last player alive is going to get a play ball, so that's big by whoever that is. Back green, a massive play ball. It was Trippy that was able to get that ball off the map, reset the ball to bottom middle, and that's going to be a pretty annoying play ball for Sentinels to deal with, seeing that they had all 4 dead.
Well, ever since Frosty has got this sniper and Heatwave, he's been on a tear, but I think this might be the end of his life very soon. Has to retreat and get the Needler, but unfortunately not able to find the kill.
I respect the attempt. Unfortunately, the Needler not being the best gun he could have had in that situation. Also, not having the shield to take down Pistola was a big problem. Pistola taking down Snakebite with a little bit of help from Trippy there as he tries to play his life. Trippy with that ball already over to green, and Optic Gaming doing a great job of controlling the ball, playing it when necessary, and rotating to a perfection.
Yeah, neither team has really been able to get an ideal setup, and not really a setup at all throughout this game, and that's why we see only 1 minute left on the clock and only 40 points to the highest scoring team. Even though we've got this little green setup at the moment, it means that ball is definitely going hurtling off the map if Sentinels are able to close the gap, and maybe Lethal needs to try and lead the charge here. But at the moment, he's bottom middle, and he needs to wait for the rest of the team. They need to try and collapse onto green here. They can't allow too much time to go in favor of Optic.
Yeah, this is an impossible situation to get the better of Optic Gaming as they do get the slays. Once again, 3 dead for Optic, but Sentinels need to be in a position to get this ball away from bottom middle of their own, and unfortunately still nobody there in order to do so. And look at that, Optic Gaming have bought enough time to come off spawn, take down Snakebite, and once again have a great chance to compete for the next power-up.
Well, it now gets to the point where it's quicker for Optic Gaming to just keep this ball on the floor rather than pick it up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just try and play Slayer here, bait this ball, watch where Sentinels are coming from, and just stop them from picking it up.
I saw this movie once, and the first time around, Lucid popped off with the snipe. Let's see what he can do with it this time around. He is going to relocate into bottom middle, and this is a tough shot, but tough shots making it look easy is Lucid already finding one. 2 members go down for Sentinels, and 70 points and climbing. Optic Gaming have a phenomenal round 1 here in our game 4 on the back of Ola's 17 kills.
Well, Optic moved this ball to an even more difficult position for Sentinels to try and grab it in open field over towards the power-up, and with 10 seconds left, it has to be now. Someone from Sentinels needs to grab this ball.
And someone from Sentinels does. Frosty on that ball in order to get some time accumulated. Unfortunately, Snakebite does find one, but damage is traded out. 2-on-2 situation now. And with 6 seconds left, Sentinels cannot afford to drop that ball for too long. But you know the pressure is coming. Optic Gaming, snipe in hand. Lucid finds one with the Mangler, knows that there's a player to his left, tries to stay alive, but actually ADS is to the right, and because of it, Lethal gets the better of him there. But, I mean, this is terrible. Sentinels do lose their ball carrier for a moment, but they cannot afford to drop this ball any longer with 1 second remaining.
1 second remaining. They will drop it. Can they get the touch? No, they can't. And the first round goes in favor of Optic. Sentinels just a little bit too late to find some heat in this map. And that now means Optic Gaming are 1 round away from taking the series and finding themselves in that winner's final against Cloud9.
What a big round from Pistola there. So many kills to his name, helping the squad out, getting the rotations, but it was really all of Optic getting that perfect ball rotations that gave him the advantages to take that round 1. Lucid already pressing his advantages here in round 2. Up 2 players right now. They have ball in hand, so quick to get it after those kills, but not expecting Frosty to be there. Gets back smacked, and now Frosty, with snipe in hand, can do just what Lucid did in the first round.
What lessons did Sentinels learn from that round 1 then? Do they know that they need to be perhaps prioritizing these ball time a little bit more, scrappy time being picked up here or there, as Frosty manages to get 1, will make it 2 after the melees, but with the camouflage can reposition to help this ball, and Optic are going to have to be a little bit more patient about their push.
20 points and climbing. Sentinels have a setup, able to hold this setup. You never saw the house setup once in the first round. Already we're seeing Sentinels Have some success here, Frosty. Anything you can do, I can do better, he says as he rips Pistola's head off. Unfortunately, he does get naded out, is taken down, and in a 2-on-2 situation, it puts Snakebite in a very difficult position, but he's got information. He's got the heat wave in hand. He's got the first kill. Trippy's back here as well. Can he get the second? Gets Trippy to no shield, but great shots from Trippy to trade that kill out. But in the meantime, Weethel able to try and stay alive in that back base, but Trippy somehow doing a better job of staying alive. And now, finally taken down, but not without being a complete nuisance to the setup of Sentinels.
The survivability of every one of these players is impressing me. Every single time they play their lives perfectly, as Royal 2 manages the double, but gets beaten down eventually. 34 in favor of 0 to Sentinels. A great setup to open things up for Sentinels, but they need to do something similar if they are going to take down Optic Gaming.
The battle for House was epic, but in the meanwhile, the ball did reset bottom middle, so Optic Gaming not able to get any ball time acquired so far in round 2, even though they won that battle in House that was so intense. Right now, Camo is coming up, and unfortunately, the shield not being strong enough to keep Lethal alive while it was coming up, so that's going to go into the hands of Pistola. Pistola with Camo can be lethal, but will that be the case here? And now Pistola tries to slow the game down a bit.
Pistola's got the information onto Snakebite, but isn't going to chase that one because he doesn't want to be walking into grenades. That's what's very important with these players, is knowing when to not chase a kill and when to just reposition and give the information to the rest of your team.
A very interesting route Pistola chooses to take. He does catch Royal 2 off guard. Is rocked to no shield by a heat wave shot. Now Snakebite, the last player alive. You see Optic Gaming want to get over to that ball, and it is going to be Trippy that picks it up. Snakebite has gone into House. But Snakebite staying alive in this situation is big, but unfortunately now, the respawners of Sentinels not able to get there just in time, and they're going to have to push 3v4.
It's an unorthodox position for Trippy right now, holding that ball over towards the Camo, but eventually now we'll move it into House, and perhaps we're going to see Optic's first setup of this round. So it's going to come down to how well Sentinels can break it. Optic managed to do it after around 30 points, but where are Sentinels in terms of their position? Because they've got to be careful. They can't go bottom middle, otherwise they'll be walking straight into Trippy, and elsewhere, 2 kills have gone in favor of Optic, so this is going to be another push that Sentinels are going to have to probably retreat from.
Yeah, somehow, some way, Trippy does get taken down to turn the odds maybe into Sentinel's favor, but just like that, the next 2 players for Sentinels go down. Lucid finds the snipe, gets it into his hands, and this setup looking great for Optic Gaming.
43 to 36, and Sentinels off the spawn. Where are the grenades going to go? You've all got to work together. Frosty trying to get bottom middle, but Lucid's watching the angle perfectly. And Optic Gaming are starting to get closer and closer towards winning this series now, and that's naturally going to generate a little bit of nervousness from the Sentinels roster.
The pressure is on the Sentinels boys right now as Snakebite gets taken down. Another body shot, and Frosty's got to be frustrated. The kill can't come through, but great damage from Lucid so far with the snipe. I love this relocation to bottom middle. He's going to be able to flank pillars. Lucid doing a great job of winning that body shot narrowly under Lethal's toes, and it's toe shots that could make the difference.
Honestly, watching Lucid play, sometimes you think he's on mouse and keyboard, not controller, with the way he moves around the map and how quick he can flick. Not able to connect with a couple of those shots, but he's still alive, he's still doing damage, and he's still being a pain in the backside to this Sentinels roster.
Most importantly, taking down Frosty several times in this one life. One player considered the best in the world, another player considered the best in the world, and we're seeing Lucid get the better of Frosty, giving Optic Gaming the advantage here in round 2.
Oh my goodness gracious! Doesn't connect with the second one, but the first was done enough. Double kill, maybe he could even try and play for a triple, but instead just gives the information to the rest of the team. I was going to say, can Sentinels get that ball to tower? Can we see a proper setup for the Sentinels team? But unfortunately, it was shut down immediately just from that one single sniper headshot.
I mean, he's killed Frosty 6 times in this one life. He's doing everything he can to shut him down. Finally, Lucid's reign of terror is ended, but is the damage done? 76 points and climbing to try and close out this game. It would be the end of the winner's bracket run for Sentinels if Optic Gaming can just keep it up for 2 more minutes.
Snakebite eventually connecting with those shots, 84 to 46, and Sentinels, even though they're on the back foot, this is still very winnable. They will pick the ball up. They have been able to spot out the remaining players from Optic, so they're looking to try and take advantage of it. They need to find Lucid. They need to shut Lucid down. Finally, they get that kill.
But it makes them work so hard for it. He draws so much attention. The ball's over at tower, so now Sentinels has to fight back towards tower to help their ball carrier. They do get a kill on pillars, but unfortunately, they do lose numbers for now. A great kill on tower. This is a very important kill. Lethal needs to kill Pistola. He hits a little bit of help from roll 2, and because of it, Ola does lose his life. Camo coming up as well. And this could be the power curve in the setup that Sentinels need.
Well, this could be good news, though, for Optic, because they're going to be on the spawn, but they're going to spawn next to that camo. APG, I think, was the one who picked it up, him or Pistola. APG has to stay alive because he could be such a big influence for breaking this setup. But as we've said that, the ball time has been racking up for Sentinels, and they're going to tie the game.
They're going to tie the game, but APG, with this camo, looking to push back tower where this ball carrier is. He is going to be able to play it, so Sentinels do get a play ball. Good shots on the Lethal to take him down. APG immediately puts his eyes on that next ball reset. He knows players should be coming from pillars, and APG knows all because spawners out by green make it very difficult. Lucid with the double kill, and the kill feed could be the 2 kills that end this series.
Optic not quite able to get that ball out of bottom middle and escape, though. Sentinels just doing enough to watch those angles, to nade it, to be a nuisance. And both teams know, if you are all 4 dead once more, you will lose this map.
8 points to get to a round 3. Frosty with ball in hand, following his teammates bottom middle. Is anyone from Optic Gaming there? No! Frosty getting it done. The rest of Sentinels clutch up, and with the pressure, with their backs against the wall, they will force a 3rd round here in game 4.
Optic probably looking at themselves saying, what went wrong? We had a 40-point lead. We were looking comfortable.
They better not be.
Tower setup is what went wrong. Every single time we've seen this game go towards Optic, it's been a house setup, a green setup, but the tower setup really favors Sentinels.
Optic better be looking at their monitors talking about round 3 right now, because if they're focused on what just went wrong, they are in trouble. They need to close the door on the series. They do not want to go to a game 5. They have a 50% win rate in game 5s, but just like that, they start off round 3 as hot as they can. 4 dead for Sentinels, sniping Lucid's hand, and you couldn't have written a better picture if you're a Green Wall fan.
Well, they're able to get the ball away. Camouflage has just popped, and Lucid's going to be able to watch it with this sniper rifle, so you'd imagine they are going to be in a position to grab this, and if they do grab it, along with the ball time they're currently collecting, Sentinels will very much be on the back foot, as Frosty just narrowly misses that one.
I don't even know how that missed, but Lucid can't seem to find the damage that he so often finds, and because of it, Sentinels break the setup. 3 dead. APG, last player alive, back tower, does play the ball once again. A 30-point lead is a substantial lead, but all it will take is one of these Sentinel setups to get right back into it.
Frosty's the one who gets the camouflage, but it's not going to be used at the moment. Instead, he's just going to take these battles, and he doesn't care if his camo dissipates. Needs to help Royal 2 get that ball away, which he should be able to do. Royal 2 has to just retreat in the end.
I'd love to see Royal 2 be able to accumulate some kind of ball time here, but unfortunately, because he was no shield, he didn't feel comfortable holding onto that ball. There he goes. He's finally able to pick it up, but it does look like we're going to have Optic Gaming pushing from green as well. Good shots and a good kill. Optic Gaming, 3 dead right now. Sentinels able to get some time, significant right now, and if they can find this last player alive, I believe he's actually at tower. Maybe he's at bridge, but they should get right back into this 3rd round.
Sentinel's kind of confused at the moment, looking around, not knowing when to go, but sometimes this is the best ball time for you when you are not really controlling the map at all and you have to kind of fight your way out. If you do survive, if you do get those kills, you manage to rack up so much ball time.
Look at this.
And already we see the 0 turn into a 25. Sentinels really getting back into this round number 3.
Lethal rotating all the way from Brute Hall back green through house, and this is a perfect rotation. Sentinel showing you that it's not just recharge they can do this on. They can do it on live fire as well. Trippy picks up an ever so important kill under Royal 2. That's going to weaken the defenses of this setup for Sentinels, but now Optic Gaming have their eyes set to push green, but you know the play ball's coming through, so Trippy doesn't want to push all the way, but Lethal waiting to the last second to play that ball. Such a smart play to reset the map now, and Sentinels all of a sudden with a 15-point lead.
Lethal gets the trade as well. That's absolutely massive for Sentinels because it means Optic, they're not going to have too much of a player advantage when it comes to the spawns, but as I say that, the kills come through from Ola and Lucid, and Snakebite was the last remaining player, but is he back tower? He's going to be on bridge and actually manages to take down the ball. Another big kill.
APG tries his best to get the ball all the way to green, does end up giving his life to do so. Will this work out in Optic's favor? You see Lucid trying to milk as much time as he can, but unfortunately forced to play the ball, and the pressure from Sentinels are going to be too much for him over at green. They get 2 dead, and right now the last 2 players alive for Optic are bottom middle.
I think the fact that we're seeing this ball being moved to green over and over again suggests how nervous both these teams are right now. You want to put the ball into a place where you can play it so quickly just in case these kills don't go in your favor. I'd say maybe don't be scared. Maybe take it to that perfect setup over towards tower. You can still play it back. I know it's a little bit more more risky, but that's where Sentinels have found their success at that tower setup, but also their rotations from Brutes has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, but they're not going to let them rotate it this time around in. Optic Gaming are cutting off multiple different angles here. Frosty surrounded with no friends around as he lost multiple members on his team. Is going to relocate the house. A wise decision as he had both power weapons on the map. He has Snipe now in hand, chooses to drop the heat wave for a teammate. That teammate is now going to be able to push. Frosty with an AR in his back pocket, limited. And what he's able to do is he pushed up for Camo, is taken down immediately. And with Camo coming up, that could be a massive kill from Trippy.
Frosty didn't get the opening with the shot, but at least he did distract them. If APG had got that kill, that might have been the round going in favor of Optic. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but Snakebite stays alive, can opt to pick this ball up. Royal 2's got hold of the sniper rifle, takes down Trippy, and is going to have the camouflage as well. Everything's looking good for Sentinels at the moment.
Yeah, because APG doesn't get that kill, doesn't play the ball, Sentinels now have a perfect setup. They've acquired that camo as well. And Royal 2 had found 3 kills in that entire span, but now he's looking to do more as he finds 4, now 5, make it a killing spree for Royal 2.
It's a killing spree, but elsewhere Lucid was able to get in, kill the ball, and not allow the play to happen. But Snakebite's going to try and rotate this one as he did so well in recharge, and he will get the kill. Sentinels move that ball over towards House. Still plenty of time on the clock, but most importantly, Sentinels need 20, Optic need 40.
Pivotal battles being won by Sentinels right now here in Game 4 to push this to a Game 5. The ball is down on scoreboard. Nobody on Sentinels able to get that ball as they did have 3 dead, but Optic Gaming right off spawn, able to get a few kills of their own, get that ball in hand, and now 15 points separate the two.
Optic have been far more comfortable setting up in towards House. I think we know it, Sentinels know it as well. They can't allow this setup to be too strong, and they've done just that. They've got the kills, they forced that ball back up into the opening, but it's still Lucid being a thorn in the side.
Well, that was such a big kill by Lethal. I can't speak about it enough. He ignores Lucid. He knows Lucid's pushing him nest, but he focuses on the ball carrier because that ball carrier will play that ball if he gets out. Now 10 points. It forces Lucid to try and push Snakebite here. He does get the kill. Can he find the double under Roll 2? The answer is yes. What? But is anyone bottom middle for Optic Gaming to capitalize now? 33 points will be needed for Optic Gaming to stop the comeback from happening.
Jesus, Lucid is on a tear at the moment. It just seems like everything he tracks onto falls to the floor. 80 seconds tick by for Optic Gaming, and the camouflage was there, but Snakebite will take him down. This Sentinels roster is going to push all the way on camo side, but Lucid can get the backstab.
Oh my God, the repulsor on Roll 2 takes him down, but the play ball comes through, so Lucid gets a double kill, having a killing spree of his own to answer Roll 2's, but that play ball, it's bottom middle now. 13 points is all they need right now. APG repositions himself to get that ball bottom middle. Nades come through, players no shield, and Lucid in such a difficult position here. APG gets taken down there, but Lucid gets his shield back, turns around, predicts Roll 2 back tower, finds that kill.
Where's
but
the ball?
2 kills get traded out.
Where's the ball? Snakebite's got the ball. You've got to go after him. It looks like no one's there to contest it. Surely not here from Sentinels. 100. We're going to a Game 5.
I don't know why you said that. I'm so excited, Dan. We've had Game 5s every series. It was predictable. It was the only thing that stands true throughout this weekend. Each team winning their non-favorable game types throughout this series, and now we have a Game 5 on our hands in the winners bracket semifinals. Once again, these two push each other to the limits, and we're gonna see 50 kills decide the winner once again.
Lucid just got like about 7 or 8 kills unanswered, by the way, and just made such mammoth plays, but still was not able to be in a position to stop that ball from being picked up. When the ball is on the floor, it's of course vulnerable to being hit by grenades and being repositioned, and Sentinels were just able to swoop in and steal it away. 253 to 251 is what the score says, but it was 2-1 in favor of Sentinels, whilst there was a 40-kill shock start from Lucid throughout that series.
Well, what you're missing is the quietest 45-kill bomb we've ever seen. How often were we on Snakebite's screen? That is Highway Robbery L-Town. You've been doing a phenomenal job all day, but 45 kills go unnoticed from Snakebite. Maybe that's a little bit of our job in order to guide that direction, but a phenomenal Game 4 from Snakebite once again to keep Sentinels in this series, but 12,000 damage says a lot about Lucid as well.
Snakebite has been my star player for Sentinels all tournament long. His rotations with the ball, previously on recharge earlier today, I was harping up and I was saying it's amazing what he's being able to do. We saw similar work for him here on Live Fire, but I guess what we didn't see was how many kills he was able to be consistently finding. And because the fact the kill leaderboard resets every round in the observer mode, yeah, you don't necessarily track it, but I mean, hats off to PJ.
You know what the most impressive thing about that 45 kills is L-Town is doing a phenomenal job of following the power weapons. Snipe in the hand of Lucid all the time, snipe in the hand of Frosty all the time. They're doing work with it. Snakebite's doing all of this damage, getting 45 kills without the power weapons, because we know where the power weapons were that game. But Snakebite doing it with a battle rifle, doing it with, probably with a Mangler if I had to guess, but phenomenal performance from him. Once again, like you said, a hell of a tournament so far.
And that was one of the biggest kills from Snakebite as well. I know it was Lucid who got that backstab and he got the repulsor off the map. If Snakebite hadn't have killed the ball guy, Optic Gaming win this map and win this series, and they're going into the winners finals. And it was Snakebite who picked that ball up at the end.
APG had 1 kill in that round. APG had 1 kill in round 3. That went unnoticed as well, and that cannot happen. If you want to close the door on a team like Sentinels, I expect a much stronger performance as we go into Game 5. And it's Recharge Slayer. Dan, let me hear the analytics on this one time so I know who not to root for.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, every game that should have gone one way has gone the other. So I guess I should still say that Sentinels have been winning this map in scrims. So I guess maybe that's bad news if you're a Sentinels fan.
Sorry, Lottie.
50-44 and 50-39, the last 2 results on this map between these 2 teams in scrims. But again, I'm going to put an asterisk next to it because scrims don't seem to have necessarily resulted in results coming through. Optic, though, is that going to kill the momentum? Considering how hard Lucid had to work at the end there to try and keep the ball on their side, is that just going to put a little bit of doubt in the minds of this Optic roster where they start to think back about Sentinels knocking them out at that previous tournament?
That question can only be determined by 4 players up there, and that's the Optic Gaming roster. We're looking on the left side of our screen. They've been here before. They've done this before, but they're going to have to do it again if they want to reach the winners bracket finals. And they're going to have to do it against some of the best in the world sitting on the right side of the stage as well. I can't pick a winner here. It's going to really be determined by power-up control. You have to think each game has gone based off who has controlled those power-ups. So often did we see Sentinels getting control or at least shutting down the control. But now, we go into Game 5, winners bracket semifinals for all the marbles. 50 kills will determine the winner between these 2. Once more, Optic Gaming and Sentinels on Recharge Slayer.
And Recharge Slayer is one of my favorite Game 5s because it can be fast-paced, but it can slow down at just those right moments where you can cut the tension with a knife. But off the rip, both teams having the battle in control.
An Optic Gaming 3-push catwalk strat to open it up. Frosty finds the first pick. It looks like Camo's disappeared for now, but where did it go? It's on the ground. A kill onto the Camo player is what had happened, and that's going to allow Snakebite to punch it into his chest. But a great job by Optic to deny that from getting any further.
Let's go back to Aquarius right at the start of this series. The Aquarius Slayer, where it was camouflage after camouflage, going in favor of Sentinels. It was Snakebite always getting it as well. We need to keep an eye on these camos as they come up, but the first one is going to be irrelevant. 6-4 in favor of Optic.
APG with 3 kills to his name already. Tripling the amount of kills he had in that last round, and that's a phenomenal job by him to start this game off on the right foot, build some confidence as he needs to pick it up. This entire Optic Gaming team wants to win this series so desperately. A rival on the other side of the stage is Sentinels, and Lucid opting to go for sword now on screen. Going to go for repulsor as well, has got himself a very powerful kit, but on the opposite side of the map, Frosty does have that shock rifle, and we know what he can do with it as well.
And I think that's why Lucid went to get that sword. He saw in the kill feed, Frosty's getting kills with the shock rifle. I need a power weapon as well. I need to control this side of the map because Frosty's been controlling the other side. With those kills, Frosty still finds him and Sentinels behind by 2, but at least he makes them scared to push this Optic roster. They're reluctant to push out into the open, and that allows Sentinels just to set up a little bit, take some map control around the turbine area.
I like this. The game's starting to slow down. Frosty with 5 kills already. You can bet that he wants to be the game changer here with this shock rifle. Will Optic Gaming allow Frosty the opportunity to get a kill here? You know, they just saw him up here. They know he has that shock rifle. Lucid being such a pesky player in that top window, and he knows that he's buying time for Trippy to try and push. Trippy's rocked to no shield, but Trippy's still alive.
He was literally being bait there. He was saying to Trippy, I'm going to poke, wait for the shot, and then you go. But there was also cover for Frosty. Both teams at the moment have a crossfire. They've all set up across the map. But here comes the flying players to try and assist. The trade comes through, 10-7.
The trade does come through, but Lucid in the meantime able to pick up this camo. Has sword as well. Lethal knows he has sword. Unfortunately, Lethal gonna go down as well, and Lucid goes right back for his repulsor, and I love this by him, not forgetting that he dropped repulsor there. And he can use all of the sandbox to his utility now.
Also, Lucid knows he really wants to take control of these kind of close quarter areas with this sword, so that's why he's heading back to control at the moment. Frosty is in there and waiting and maybe surprised, but is Lucid failing this jump, or is he just trying to get information? I don't really care, because I'll always watch his POV and enjoy it.
Absolutely. He says, I'll make this jump. Maybe not, but Nate come through, so it's probably better that he doesn't make the jump. Unfortunately, because Lucid not able to impact the game just yet, he does lose his teammate, and Oa does get taken down as well, and that's a little bit of a blunder. Not often do you see Lucid miss jumps, but it works out in Trippy's favor. He's got the kill with the sword, and not only that, now he's top ER with a shock rifle in hand.
Frosty has 8 kills right now. Lethal and Royal 2 still yet to find one, but of course, a couple of assists here and there for them, but maybe they need to catch up with Frosty in terms of the damage output as Lethal re-peaks, and Trippy will say thank you very much for the free kill.
Disrespectful was that re-peak onto Trippy, and Trippy makes him pay immediately. 7 kills separate Optic Gaming and Sentinels right now, and Trippy finds himself the 18th kill.
This is not good news for Sentinels. Already down by 8, and all the goodies are in the hands of Optic Gaming right now. A new Mangler is up there, and yep, I thought so. Lucid is going to be there and says, thank you very much. I'll put that in my back pocket.
I'll cover you, bro. You go get the Mangler. Nice job. Now Trippy just with 1 shot in this shock rifle left, trying to use it to help his team secure this camo, but if he misses this, he's only gonna have a BR to play around. Lucid does find a kill, a melee kill in the kill feed right there. You have to think that Mangler coming into use right now for him. Trippy trying to finish off Royal 2, actually gets repulsed back. It works out in his favor as he does get that kill. Royal 2 still killless in a game 5. You know that won't last long, but Optic Gaming 21-12 now as they've been able to take the lead here, but Frosty does have camo, makes his way all the way to sword. And I love this by Frosty because he hasn't activated the camo yet. He wants to use the entire allotted time that camo will give you in order to have success to get his team back into this game.
Didn't even want to waste a sword snipe as well. 9 kills for Frosty, and definitely the chance to get them back into it right now with the camo and sword, but it's about where he goes. You've got 2 decisions. You can try and push over towards Elevator, or you can just dominate the gold area. It looks like Elevator is going to be the choice. He's already seen 1, but patience here as he knows there's more.
1 wisely, trigger discipline. I guess this trigger discipline with the sword finds 2. Does get taken down. And Trippy with the double, the perfect kill as we barely, narrowly saw the end of it. But that's Trippy swinging numbers back into Optic Gaming's favor and keeping this at an 8-kill lead.
They've got to be careful. They've got to maybe take this out of Trippy's hands, because it seems like every time there's a shock rifle, it's always going to be falling to one of these Optics players, and they have been doing work with it, and you've got to be careful with these peaks. You've got to put some respect on Trippy's name because he's been hitting these shots.
Yeah, eventually you're going to catch on to where if he's not missing, you've got to stop giving him opportunities. But it has slowed down once again, and Trippy is going to try and relocate now that his presence has been spotted, but doubles back. He's been disrespected before. Royal 2 finds his first kill of the game, and that's a big one. Maybe he can build some momentum on the other side of the map. But Trippy, I love this by him, relocating into red, controlling pipes, and I love how Optic Gaming has controlled the entire pace of this game so far.
Yeah, they really have, and Sentinels, they know that this next camouflage is coming up, but they're reluctant to push out in any of these angles because they're not sure where the shock rifle is right now. Trippy has done very well at repositioning to be unpredictable, and Lethal walks right into the trap, and that's going to allow now Optic to potentially push down and grab that camouflage.
Onset said he wanted to see the Trippy series. We may see the Trippy Game 5 as his control of this shock rifle has been nothing short of perfect. 12-2-4 in a Game 5, giving Optic Gaming the 33-20 lead.
Even though Sentinels have played this map so well in scrims, it seems again Optic have worked on one of their weaker game types here. Lethal gets repulsed away and doesn't have a chance to use the sword. APG and Optic, now they're going to look to even go on more of a tear here.
And once again, Camo, sword in control of one player on the map. Such a massive power curve. Camo is going to go out shortly, but APG actually gets out of elevator, and not only that, finds a kill on the Lethal. A massive job by APG. great awareness from him, and he's got 10 kills as well. So as great of a game as Trippy is having, APG is right behind him.
A 14 kill difference. Now, I've seen some crazy things happen in this tournament and in previous tournaments, but if Optic throw away a 14 kill lead, I think everyone in this arena would gasp so loud it would make an audible that would be even louder than you, Clutch.
I'll throw up. If they throw this lead, I'll throw up. I promise you, because it would make me sick to my stomach to watch these guys give up such a lead in such a big moment for them. I love what we're seeing from Optic Gaming. Controlled pace right now as they look to push elevators. They get 2 more kills towards their total and just 10 now to separate themselves in a match between them and Cloud9.
The trouble is every time Sentinels try and slow this one down, Optic Gaming speeds it right back up in the right areas. 9 more kills needed for Optic. And, well, that's going to be 27 more needed for Sentinels. I think that says it all right now. And Sentinels, they're just flooding in to try and do something, but time and time again, they're going down. Camo's going to be up in 5, 6 kills remaining.
Flooding in to try to do something does not sound like an epic strategy that will work against such a strong Optic Gaming roster. 14 for both Trippy and APG. Lucid using grapple to get himself the Mangler combo, and we saw how lethal this could be on live fire. We're going to see it again here and now.
Cloud9 are waiting in the winners finals, and I think they're starting to realize their opposition is going to be Optic Gaming at this point. Just 1 kill remaining. Sentinels have been so far off the pace.
I hope these boys are hungry because steak is on the menu tonight. It was a hell of a series, but Optic Gaming with 1 more kill will look to close the door, and there it is. The green wall prevails, smiles across the board for the boys in green. And what a series it was, but Optic Gaming, they got to game 5 and they said absolutely not this time. What a series, Dan.
I mean, I predicted a game 5, but I did not predict us getting to that game 5 in that manner. All of the favorite game types going to the team who arguably should have lost them based off of history, based off statistics, based off scrims. Throw it out the window. Scrap it all, because it's all about who's playing well on the day, who's put more time in those scrims, what was going wrong in the scrims, what can you develop, what can you change, and it seems like Optic just about got the better of Sentinels on this one. Such an intense and close series, but the game 5, it was everything but. That wasn't close whatsoever, and I think Sentinels will be pretty annoyed that they weren't able to make more of that one.
Yeah, you lose some, you win some, and Sentinels already winning a game 5 earlier today. It just wasn't in the cards for them, but Optic Gaming, what a performance that was in that game 5, right? Those games throughout the series, so close, but this one, they decided to take over. And when I say they, specifically Trippy and APG, both 15 kills to their names, both 7 deaths, 5 and 7 assists outright, but it really was those two picking it up and stepping up for the green wall. And it was that shock rifle with Trippy that was really making the difference, trading kills out, getting the entry picks that gave Optic Gaming such a massive opportunity.
I think if you've got someone on the team who is hitting those shots, then you always are going to have the possibility of the remaining players getting camouflage, getting sword, getting the mangler, and then, I mean, everything else just kind of unfolds in front of you at that point. There's even I can get kills with a mangler, let's be completely honest. So if you put it in the hands of some of these amazing players, then that's going to be a terrifying thing when they're suddenly charging at you. But sword control, what I loved was when Lucid saw that the shock rifle was in the hands of the other team of Frosty, he said, well, let's get the sword into play. Let's get up close and personal with them.
Absolutely. Love the decision by Lucid. I hear that Blaze is actually on main stage with Lucid for an interview right now. Would love to hear what's going on with the green wall.
Thank you very much, Clutch. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the smoothest man in HCS here on the main stage, in and out of game. Man, watching that series, okay? You guys had, it was a tough time. It was a battle. And watching your performance in game 2, dropping 24 kills, okay? Going on a tear, and then tell me about that going into game 4, because you guys, y'all was going back and forth, but it was all set up.
Right, yeah, I felt like, you know, first 2 games, we were very much locked in. I think we had our game plans and we really stuck to it. I think, or really game 1, game 3.
Yeah.
And because that second game, I think rattled us a little bit. Our Aquarius is a little weak. They're actually very good at it, and ours is just kind of weak. But then that game 3, we were locked in, back in it like game 1. And I think game 4, we started out that way. And then round 2, they just kind of answered back on the oddball.
Yeah, because that bazaar that you was playing, like, even with all 8 people in the lobby, everybody was playing to your pace, okay, as you were tearing them up. And so, but I really want to talk about the game number 4, okay, because we see you frying in like the last 2 minutes of it, okay? You go on a spree, you drop the ball, you go tower, just 2 seconds left on the clock. What was going through your mind as that sequence of actions was happening?
At that point, I know we were just starting to get hectic. That's one of the things we've been trying to work on is like not getting hectic, because at that point we start to make some poor decisions, all of us. We get into that sort of just win or lose moment when we have probably guaranteed information to play off of. In that moment, I know I was like, go here, no, come back, a few times. I think we were kind of saying that. So then naturally, it was like almost coin flips. We just lost like 2 coin flips. Even in those 2 rounds, I'm not going to try to put Ol in the spot, but at least in that second round, he didn't really recognize where the spawns were because none of us were on the same page
in the flow, in the moment, getting kills, understanding the pressure, because y'all lost that round 2 and immediately had to hop right back in it for round number 3. And y'all even started that one slow, so y'all really didn't have time to kind of adjust in that. But even with that happening and you guys losing that map 4, coming into map number 5, Trippy. Absolutely tripping.
He's the shock rifle owner today, at least. I know I get the title sometimes with some of my plays that I can make, but he was absolutely frying. Yeah, he was taking over.
He said, "Sit back, hold my fuel. I got this for you."
Yeah,
okay.
Once I saw those picks, I was like, dude, I can count on my team to do anything right now because we're just making the right decisions and hitting the right shots at the right times.
Yes.
Everything was falling into place, and it's just one of those moments where it's like, okay, now nobody messed up. Like it's just he's doing everything for a moment. It's like, just don't throw it for him.
Don't throw it, right?
Yeah,
just play your position, okay?
Exactly.
And so now last event, y'all played Sentinels a bunch. It went 1-1, okay? This is the 3rd time y'all played them. They got their full squad. What does this win mean for y'all, especially going towards the winter bracket finals, okay? Up against Cloud9, because we know that rally performance wasn't what you wanted.
Yeah. I mean, we had some tough Game 5 heartbreaker losses against them as well in Cloud9, and I think we were playing kind of average. We were still playing solid, and that's why we were able to bring it back to those Game 5s. But I think, we literally haven't taken like any days off. We took like maybe 1 day off, a couple days off, but we've literally been scrimming every single day.
Nonstop.
And just breaking each other down, honestly. We're like, you're doing this wrong, I'm doing this wrong, to all of us constantly. I mean, it can be kind of irritating, but we all got good attitudes at the end of the day, and that's what I think it's tightened us up. Like that Game 5 for us, I think it really was a testament to the practice we've been putting in, that the pressure wasn't getting to us. We had, every team I think has their moments, no matter what, when the pressure's on, the games are getting tight. But we really stepped up and we weren't zoning in so hard that we were, just getting into throw modes and costing our team.
All right, man. Well, hey, Lucid, that's going to do it for us because we can sit here and we can talk all day about that series and what you guys are going to do tomorrow. I love talking to you, but Lottie, y'all got to talk and break the series down because we definitely want to hear what you guys got to say.
Thank you so much, Blaze. Yeah, an incredible performance out of Optic there. I got to say, an amazing interview from Lucid. It was really cool to get the intel on, really what they've been up to and the practice they've been putting in. But I got to say, my highlight from that interview has to be Ola looking at Lucid like the proud dad that everybody wants. The way he was looking at him, it was just pure passion for what he was saying.
I think he was passionate about the fact that Lucid had just said, "You're doing this wrong. You're doing this wrong." I think that's what he heard.
Yeah, I think he was like, you know what, we've been breaking it down as a team. My goodness, you can kind of tell. They have been working as that squad. Let's just quickly talk about some of the final moments that we saw in some of these games. I mean, first of all, this final Slayer of the Night was just an absolutely epic showing from Optic across the board. They didn't give Sentinels any room to breathe whatsoever. And I think a lot of that did fall into the hands of Trippy there with the shock rifle, but I think it's also the openings that the team gave him to be able to do that. Pushing Sentinels around the map, forcing them to have to peek in certain situations really gave the faces open for Trippy there. But I also want to talk about Oddball and final moments there. What did you make of this series overall, Brav? Take your pickings.
I mean, what can I say? You guys didn't believe it was going to be Optic? I knew it was going to be Optic.
I was going to say,
say?
I had this
don't know
terribly
what else.
drawn thing by Gaskin, so I couldn't make, you know.
The excuses come in for GB. But back to the point, I think, like you said,
What
the
a
Oddball
series.
was absolutely wild. We could spend, honestly, we could have an hour show dedicated to that Oddball game because we were all backstage losing our minds. I know many of you at home were losing your minds as well. One thing I got to give credit to, though, to my duo, is right before that Slayer started, Onset looked at me and he said, I'm watching Trippy this game.
Yeah,
and
he
man,
did.
did that ever.
Wait a minute.
That pipe up.
Hold on.
It was Golden Boy.
Hold up. Okay. I was the one that talked about Trippy needing to be a key factor for this team, and he pulled through.
True.
Why?
Very true.
Because he needed to. Because we needed to see Trippy play like that, and because we know he's very capable of doing it. What are you going to say, Mark?
He copied my homework earlier, and now he's just copying my homework again.
we still need that replay.
At this point, it's just blatant. But no, you're completely right.
And you copied the wrong homework.
I think Trippy needs a lot of love after that series. I've been. Quite honestly, there's been game 5s where I've looked at Trippy's stats, I've looked at some of the plays, and he looks a little bit nervous, and he seems a little bit hesitant. He's kind of playing with that, I don't want to lose this game, instead of I'm going to go and win this game mentality. That's a different Trippy that we've just seen there in a game 5.
Give me that Trippy every time.
That's a confident Trippy who's saying, I'm going to be the man to step up. I am the man for Optic Gaming. What a game 5 that was. It was almost flawless from him.
Yeah, it really was indeed. And I think, overall as well, Optic, they just looked like the aggressor in that situation as well. For me, the only time I really saw the aggressive nature from Sentinels was really in Aquarius. And that's the only time I really felt like they were really running the show. The rest of the time, I felt like their play was kind of scrappy. They were picking up things here and there when they could. And I think that scrappy gameplay really did aid into the fact that they got it as far as they did in the series. But unfortunately, I just feel like the composure, the elegance that Optic had, the nature of the way that they play the game really did aid into their victory there in that series. But I've got to say, an incredible job from both of our teams. And what a way to end day number 2.
Couldn't ask for anything better. I think we were all loving it backstage, and I'm sure everyone at home was as well.
I hope you guys were. It was absolutely amazing. Let's take a look right now at the bracket, just to see exactly where we've ended up in our final series of the night. As you can see, Optic, they produced the goods. They did a thing. They're in the winners finals versus Cloud9, and that is going to be a steep hill to climb, but I believe in them. I really do.
It's coming out. It's also, sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I want to jump in really quickly here. Look at the side of the bracket of Cloud9 as well. That is not a 3-0 Cloud9, 3-0 Cloud9. That's a 3-2, a 3-1.
That's what I'm saying.
And Optic, having just come through their side of the bracket with pretty convincing victories, I would say, against arguably stronger teams historically, that tomorrow is going to be a wild series between the two. I can't wait. I genuinely can't wait for that.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at that bracket, and that gives you the story of this tournament. Everyone's starting to get better. People are starting to catch up. Pistola said it in the interview. The meta has been changing a lot, and it feels like we're watching 2 different games from Raleigh to today here in Anaheim. And even for the elimination bracket, we have some storylines out of here too, because G2's been a bit on a tear. Pioneers have been the talk of the town. Take your pick.
It's crazy already. I mean, to think that FaZe is also eliminated, right? I think that's
wild.
Of all the crazy things that have happened, that might be one of the biggest surprises. I think so many people looking to see what FaZe was going to do at this event, and I think we talked for weeks about how FaZe looked better and better and better every week. So disappointing finish for them. But question for me about C9 is, do we get the same C9 we've gotten because the match results indicate that might not be the best C9, or do we get Championship Sunday C9, which honestly they're probably going to show up tomorrow?
No, I do think that we are getting the C9 that we know and love. I mean, I just think
Not with the match results that you just saw on screen.
Genuinely, I still think we are. I just think that what it is that there's a lot to go off of. There's a lot of information that's out there. There's a lot of tape to pull from Cloud9, and as a result of that, teams are getting better, and that is exactly what we want. A team like Cloud9, this early in the life cycle of Halo Infinite as an esport, is only going to force everyone else to have to level up their gameplay. Yeah, I was saying like they're peaking at the wrong time, even though I still think C9 are very much in control of the HCS for a good long time. But right now, it does feel like we're starting to see this game evolve even more. And it is horrifying, because if Lucid does the things that he did today and he keeps doing that, I mean, at this point, we're all just going to need new clothing. And
that is true. It's just going to be sweating,
need new underwear.
It's true.
Sweating through it, all
I
sorts
need
of
new
things.
clothing after that last series, so I'm in trouble tomorrow.
I think you're onto something there as well, GB, just really quickly on Cloud9, because you just got to remember one thing as well. Cloud9 haven't played these teams really before. I mean, the last time they had played, some of the teams that they had come up against today was back in November in the Open number 2. you know, a lot of these teams haven't had the chance to climb that Pro Series ladder and face Cloud9. Cloud9 haven't had that competition, so there is a form of unknown entity about these teams that they're playing. They're not sure about how to play them. They're not sure about what their playstyle is. They probably haven't watched VOD on the likes of Fnatic before. You know, it's probably not something that's on their mind, so I'm not surprised that they are dropping maps here and there, but what's more important is they are getting the results. They got the results. They are in the winners finals, and they're going up against Optic, who they've played many a times. So I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing tomorrow and how they're going to be delivering the goods, and whether or not Optic can also do the same. So I'm hoping for a pretty epic fight.
It's going to be good.
Now, don't fight over this though, folks, because this is going to be my last plug of the night in terms of your Twitch drops happening. So if you are tuning in on Twitch, or you are tuning into our lovely co-streamers who are streaming alongside us, and it's been lovely to have you guys on board all weekend, so thank you so much for joining us. But you guys, get your hands on some free goodies. Look at these, absolutely stunning. Your battle rifle, sidekick, and your assault rifle could look super duper cool. All you have to do is make sure you are clicking on the Twitch drops that are happening in chat right now, and you also have the pose that is going to be happening tomorrow. You guys can get your hands on this HCS celebration pose, so you have to make sure you're watching for an hour in the grand final, which we already know you're going to be watching the whole damn thing.
Anyway.
Come on.
You better.
Don't lie.
Of course you are. Of course you're watching.
Otherwise, Alex will come after you.
Yeah, that's right. I would.
Oh gosh, you don't want that.
Yeah, just come in. You'll see this in your dreams.
Nightmares, especially
right?
not after he's been watching Lucid, because he's just told you that he leaks in all sorts of different places. So
yeah, man.
We definitely don't want that
it's
either.
It's like really squeaky, it's like squishy over here, you know? It's
How do you mute this?
Yeah, guys, I have a lot of great.
You notice how we've all been given mute buttons
Golden Boy to
from
self
Alex.
If we
It's
can,
great. We can just mute him.
If we can teach Golden Boy to self-mute, that'd be good.
I don't appreciate any of this, and I think
Hey,
that
look,
you guys have to put
Alex,
respect on my name.
Just remember, we were the first ones to stand in your corner this weekend.
we got you.
Okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it. I'm gonna miss you all so much.
I know. We're gonna miss you too, man.
Yeah, we're gonna miss you, Boy. You've been golden all weekend.
I've been all right.
We love
It's
you.
okay.
We love you so much.
Had better ones.
We also love free things. I've got some more free things
stuff.
as well.
Go.
Correct. PC Game Pass, baby. We've got 30 of them. They're 3 months of PC Game Pass. I mean, absolutely insane stuff. You can get your hands on exclusive Xbox games that are coming out literally from launch. We're giving away 30 a day, so 30 today and 30 tomorrow. So you guys can also be the lucky winners of those Game Passes as well, which is absolutely epic. But gentlemen, that's going to do it from us on the desk.
Oh.
The only thing that's left to really be said is when you guys at home need to join us. So if you want to catch the pre-show, you're going to tune in at 11:15 Pacific. The action does start at 12, but honestly, we are goated up here. We talk about everything. We cover everything that you need to know about the matches on the main stage behind us. So make sure you guys are tuning into the pre-show as well. But we start off with E-United versus the Pioneers. This is an elimination match, people. Someone is going home first thing in the morning, and you don't want to miss it. But thank you so much for joining us for day 2 here at the NA Regionals. It's been absolutely amazing, live in Anaheim, California. What more could you want? But we will see you guys tomorrow for Championship Sunday. So don't be late.
Bye.